You were always overthinking every little step that you would ever take. As we grew older, you couldn't stop tying yourself into way too many knots. Just relax and feel the flow. It's time for you to let it all go. Catch the waves as they're rolling in. Reach up higher and go follow the sun. Let the breeze come and drift away. Can you feel the fire as you follow the sun? Settle down, just take a breath, and your worried thoughts will slowly fade away. Live in the moment, don't look back. Allow your heart to run free and you'll stay on track. Just relax and feel the flow. It's time for you to let it all go. Catch the waves as they're rolling in. Reach up higher and go follow the sun. Let the breeze come and drift away. Can you feel the fire as you follow the sun? Just relax and feel the flow. It's time for you to let it all go. Catch the waves as they're rolling in. Reach up higher and go follow the sun. Let the breeze come and drift away. Can you feel the fire as you follow the sun? Catch the waves as they're rolling in. Reach up higher and go follow the sun. Let the breeze come and drift away. Can you feel the fire as you follow the sun?
Good morning, good morning. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get my headphones to connect, and they are just not working. All right. I don't know what the deal is. Oh, well. So, how's it going for everyone? Oh, my gosh. Okay, this is the most messages I have seen before alive. Wow. Whew. Good morning, Kate the Great. Thanks, Heels. I love it, too, and I felt like we needed a little calming music this morning, maybe. I'm so upset right now. I can't see straight. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people. I think controversy is an understated word on this right now. No, it's not good. Oh, hey, Dino. Hey, Lady Tara. Hey, Gina. Oh, wow, that went up even higher and I missed it. Holy moly, I've been chatting. Made a post about it. I don't know why she thinks it's cool. Good morning, blank screen. Oh my gosh. Of course, his family is the most important thing, but I also... Good morning, baby boomer. Good morning, everyone. She only has as many subs as she does for exploiting Kylie. Okay. I'm gonna... Dang, y'all were chatty in here. I'm conflicted. See, I'm with you, Ellie. Whew. Okay, let's drop the link because I think this is gonna be one where a lot of people have a lot of opinions, and I'm just gonna be honest with you all. I see both sides of this. I don't know what to think. Don't come at me. That's just my honest opinion. I don't know what to think, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around where it should be at the moment. I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. This is a lot. It not just a lot of the autopsy photos, but it's a lot of the reaction too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, and I'm just trying to understand everybody's point of view. Yes, 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 yes. Good morning, Blair, by the way. Oh, I love that you danced to it. It's gross what she did. Morning, Candy Kitten. Whew. Morning, Sharon. Oh, we've already got our. I haven't even played the video. Claire's like, let me come up and give my piece. Good morning.
I'm mad, dude. I can't help it.
A lot of people are like, a lot of people are furious over the top. You know how many emails I got about this? Like 6. They're going on, like, people have such strong opinions that y'all are commenting under my community post under a missing flyer. Like, everybody is having a strong reaction to this, and I want to understand it.
I mean, I just don't see, you know, and I'm not trying to attack you or Ellie or anything, but I don't see the conflict. I don't see how it's just completely and totally anything other than
Disgusting.
the most disrespectful thing that you could do to anyone, much less an 11-year-old child.
And that right there, because like I was talking with Jones in this morning in text, I was like, dude, everyone's going nuts about this, and I don't know what to think. And where I'm coming from is, I'm not even like in support of it. It's just like, think about it. True crime creators share autopsy photos all the time. We see them on TV all the time. But let me add this, y'all, before you come at me. But I'm also like, no, don't do that. Don't do that to that 11-year-old little boy. Don't you dare show his photos. That's wrong and it's hurtful, and I don't want to see that. I would never do that. I don't want to participate in that. And why the heck are you putting it behind a paywall? So you see where I'm on, like,
I get that. I get
know?
that. Because her defense, according to somebody in chat, her defense is that it's for educational purposes. Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, fine, somebody shows autopsy photos, not of a child. There's no way you're ever going to get me to sign off on that. But
No, the child part, that's where I'm like, no, wrong, completely wrong.
Even still, like, if you're showing the autopsy photos of an adult, you are not an expert. You are not a coroner. You're not
Very
any
true.
of these things unless you actually have. I could see having a live stream where you actually have someone who's an expert on certain things in regards to fatal wounds and things of that nature that can explain these autopsy photos. Otherwise, you're just showing these things just to say that you have them and pay money if you want to see these disgusting, images.
And I have a huge issue with the paywall. The paywall thing is like, what?
Right.
What? It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it's her. You know what I mean? Like, we know her pattern. We know how she thinks. This is someone who made tons of money. I reviewed how much. I mean, I went over on Social Blade, and I looked at. And I remember I was live. I did it live. It was a long time ago though. But I went on Social Blade and I showed just gave an idea of how much money she made from Kylie Rodney, basically throwing accusations at her friends and family of foul play, when it was, again, she was a minor and she died of it was the result of an accident. There was no foul play. There's video footage, proof that it was an accident, and she continued to exploit this poor girl and her family.
Yeah. That's where I was introduced to Zab Girl, was in the Kylie Rodney case. And at first I, was kind of like, oh, this is all right. But then, things like, they took a left turn really quick. Hang on one second. We got Gina Diamond hopping up. She's never been up, so let me put that up. You there, Gina?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it was you, hon. How's it going? What are you thinking? What do you think about all this?
Well, this is absolutely crazy, but me and a handful of others went over to talk to her last night. Most of them were yelling,
Yeah,
and I thought I would try the nice approach because she might be more receptive to that. And we were just like, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to what everybody else was saying. I know Green was really upset, and I
yeah,
don't blame
yeah.
her.
I went and
But
watched that this morning. I was gonna share it. And because it gives her reason, like she goes over her reasoning in that little portion.
yeah. Well, Zav was saying that we are all oversensitive and she's doing it for science. And see, we were told some of the pictures were nude also. So then we weren't sure, does that go into CP territory?
I don't know. I'm curious about that as well.
Well, and okay, let's just say it's for scientific purposes. So who's the scientist that gets to give the scientific insight when
Yeah.
he's explaining this? Where's that?
Apparently her.
Oh, right.
Okay, but so Georgia says, I mean, they were shown publicly during the trial. I don't like, do you mean to the courthouse? Because I don't remember seeing them, the autopsy photos on a channel. Were they on a channel? I only watched between Glare, Tracy, and Ikadmel. I didn't see autopsy photos shown.
I know that as soon as I saw that they were showing the autopsy photos on the
Did they
screen,
show them?
I turned off the visual on that, and I didn't want to risk that they were going to show them. I freaked out and I like panicked and was like, "Oh my god, I got to turn this off," because I did not want them shown anywhere on my channel. I don't care if the court's showing it, because
Right.
it was only necessary to show that, and it was necessary, by the way, but it was only necessary to show those photos in court because you're trying to prove a case against someone accused of murder that's sitting in the courtroom. That's the only reason that you would ever show that. It does me no good to show my audience that. My audience isn't going to get anything out of that, and anybody in my audience who would get something out of that, I don't want anything to do with them.
Maybe Kate the Great maybe understands the wrong word. I'm trying to look at it from both sides, and understands the right word. I'm trying to understand her point of view and her reasoning for doing such.
Agreed.
And I'm struggling there. I'm conflicted, and everyone's, y'all are allowed to feel however you feel on it. I'm extremely conflicted on this, and like I said, I think of my son when he was 11. Would I ever want that out there publicly? No, not at all. I would be heartbroken. It would tear me to shreds.
I'm half of me is tempted to message Landon Hyatt, Gannon's mother, and tell her,
but then you don't want her to.
But I can't even bring myself to bother her.
No, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even bring myself to concern her with this. You know what I mean? So like, it's weird because like, I feel like, man, if I was a parent, I don't know if I'd want to know about it, but at the same time, I'd like to have the option to sue the hell out of somebody for that. But at the same time, if the pictures, if the autopsy photos are public now and they're public record.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to tell Stacey Price here. She probably got them just with a FOIA request. I'm sure that.
Yeah,
I don't see Zav Girls as doing something like illegal and like going in with a spy cam or something. No, I'm sure she got them as a FOIA request.
She did. She said she did. I went and listened to what she said last night, and I could totally. I see both sides. I really see her side.
You're glitching
she's
really bad, Ellie.
What?
You're
it's really bad.
Yeah, you're glitching. Like, is it just me or you guys hear it too? Like a click?
Let me go out.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, so my point being is that I'm just not. It bothers me that I think that people like her, people like Zav Girl, they count on the fact that a parent is grieving and just doesn't want to deal, and they feed off of that. This is what makes them tragedy pips, is they feed off of something being so traumatic to, say, a parent or a loved one, that they're just like, I just want to move on. And I just, this is disgusting, but I just want to be able to move on with my life, and I don't want to hear anything else about it. And they count on the trauma that these loved ones are going through to want to just avoid any type of conflict with them, because she knows that Landon or Al are not going to want to drag her to court and sit in a courtroom with her over squabbling over what is going to be perceived as a grift for money to a lot of people, so they count on that, and that in itself is the definition of exploitation.
I don't think it's a grift for money at all, though. I think it was her only way, because I went and listened to it, that she could put it as private, where if she put it as public, it would be too accessible. If she put it as private, it could be controlled. And that was the only way to do it on like a lowest tier in Patreon. Am I still glitchy? I'm sorry.
No, you sound crystal
Okay.
clear now. And Tracy did say that they did show them during the trial. It was far
Yes.
away, and some weren't shown. Okay. I
Yeah.
said, I listened. I didn't even chat a ton of times when I was listening. I did listen to the whole trial, but it was long. So
Yeah,
unless there
it
was
really
something
was.
I wanted to look at and see, I was just mainly had earbuds in, so they
And she did FOIA the whole thing. She FOIA'd all that information. So it was all legal, and it was all on that call. It was all, I mean, I know, like, it's not for everyone, and that's why she put it, I think, privately, because she didn't want people stumbling into it. I don't know. I think her intentions are like, she likes to know every little detail about a case. I'm not saying like that's what we do or that's right, but that's how that's her mind. And she, I don't know. I understand where she's coming from. It made her understand the case more. Sorry.
See, and I'm kind of where you were, Ellie, but then I'm also like, but it's an 11-year-old boy who went through the most horrific murder ever. That baby was brutalized, terrorized, like. My heart so breaks.
I'm sorry, Deets. I just, what am I gonna get out of some girl with a tie-dye shirt who barely has any insight whatsoever in her content as it is, showing me autopsy photos of an 11-year-old boy who was stabbed so many times that I can't even, I don't even remember the number, but he was stabbed incredibly so many times. He was shot. He was bludgeoned. Like, what are you going to get out of seeing those photos explained to you by some girl who has no insight in her content as it is, with no scientific background, with no background in being a coroner or anything of that nature? She's not a doctor. She has no way of giving any educational explanation as to what you're looking at whatsoever. There's nothing but gruesome to it. I mean, I can't think of any other word than gruesome.
And her reaction wasn't the best either. She was,
and I can play that. Can I say something real quick? I'm trying to get caught up on the chat, and I'm seeing a few things, and I just want to say, y'all, everyone here is entitled to their opinions. Please do not attack each other if someone else's opinion is different than yours, but absolutely discuss it with them and converse back and forth. Just do it as adults. There's no need to go hard on each other. This is a topic right now that is touching people on different levels for different reasons. So be kind to one another as you debate and discuss.
Disclaimer. If I seem heated, it's only because I have been following this case since it happened 3 years ago.
Wait, what? Samantha. I didn't hear that part. I listened to her. I listened to it. She said, to the parents who cares they don't watch. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with too.
Well, she was saying Al isn't very big on social media, so how would he ever find out that happened behind the Patreon wall unless people bring attention to it?
Well,
she
that is
wanted to make it private. She could have emailed people. That would have been better, that wanted to see it for free or whatever. I think that could have been a better way. I don't know if that's possible though, to do something like that. But
yeah,
it just
I don't know. You know, if I didn't realize she had gotten as big as she did, honestly, until I just went and watched these. She wasn't that huge during Kylie at all, was she? I mean, 30, 40, I don't know.
was
But
big
anyway,
during
I mean, that's when I watched her.
yeah.
too.
So she's
And
just kind of
stopped
exploded.
watching her.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
content your members want. Is there a way to give it to them privately? Should you be giving it to them privately? They can FOIA it if they truly want to see it. I don't know.
Maybe it's for certain people that really kind of wanted it for the same reason she did. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. You know what I mean? I'm saying for what her mind is and want to see every little detail. And for her, that was part of it. I would never want to see those autopsy photos ever of any case, truthfully. But like for some people, they do want to see it. And I don't know. I respect that. That's because it was available at the trial. It's not something that was not available that's now available. Like Clara, you said you chose to, not show that, but other people chose to show it. I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. I'm just saying that it was, if it's for educational purposes, it was at the trial, it was there. So what is wrong with it?
Sorry, let me say something real quick. I don't think there's any reason to contact the judge if she FOIA'd them and got them, unless there's something when you FOIA them that says, you're not to distribute these or something like that. But she didn't go through illegal means to obtain them.
Yeah,
it would be more of a Patreon YouTube issue.
I'm not hung up on the legalities of it. I'm hung up on the question of whether or not it's decent. I mean, just because it's legal for you to do something, it doesn't mean that you should. I mean, this like I said, if the argument is it's for educational purposes, well, where's the person qualified to educate you on what you're seeing? Where's that?
Well, no, you can whitewash anything.
That's true.
And make it sound like it's okay.
Which is exactly what she's doing. I agree with you.
Right, which is why because there's a whole market out there of people who are interested in morbid things.
That's right.
I mean, even look at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. That contains things from murder sites and people collect stuff that Ed Gein owned or,
Oh, it's so sick. Yeah.
And to me, this falls into that category. I mean, I can call it science or educational. It's morbid curiosity is what it is. And at the worst case, it runs into those people who watch those snuff films.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's morbid curiosity. It's not for educational purposes, because if you were looking to be educated, you would have a standard for who's educating you on this issue.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, what kind of education am I getting out of this?
Right.
Because
all the education you're going to need is just go back and watch the trial and listen to the testimony of the expert that was showing the reason why they were showing the autopsy photo in the trial.
Exactly.
Listen to that expert. You already have it. That's there.
Education. I don't need to see what level of decomposition or what a wound looks like.
No.
Right. That doesn't educate me into any portion of my life, unless I'm going to be a coroner. But yeah, I just see it as being morbidly curious. And I don't want to say that like Zav Girl is just, this sicko or something. Not like that. I mean, some people are just curious to the point of minutia.
Oh, periwinkle violet. I agree.
She said that about herself. Even she said that she's one that likes to see every little thing. I mean, that's her though. We can't like judge somebody and make them. I mean, and if it's a few people that she's sharing it with, it's not like it's she's making it a public thing and trying to educate people about this. I think it's for people that really want to see it. I don't know. I mean, I know it's morbid a little, of course, but
and see, I agree with Fairy Dust here. Completely agree with you. He's a minor. I don't think that nude photos of him should be nude autopsy photos. I get that it's a clinical thing at that point, even though I don't feel like it is, like emotionally I don't, but that's probably why they included him. But I don't I don't agree. I don't think that minors' autopsy photos should be given to the public via FOIA request. I just
And
don't.
that
agree.
that
Yeah.
can actually go into the CSAM aspect of this, because
Yeah, that's what I thought.
if there are genitalia in these pictures, that could be, bait or interesting to
So when I was skimming through her live this morning, the end portion there, and I can pull it up and we can listen to it. Someone in the chat said they were blurred out. I don't know if anyone in here was in her Patreon and saw them. Were they blurred? I don't know. Someone's got some echo.
I don't think they were blurred. I think people did blur them when they did the trial live. They were blurred in certain cases. Certain creators blurred them.
I don't even think it matters, I mean, because you have Case Smalls going, she would never sell those autopsy photos. Well, technically she's selling them. And Tracy Ann, I agree with you to a certain degree, but I don't completely agree with you. If you're putting it behind a paywall, whether somebody is already a Patreon member or not, then you're still technically selling those photos. I mean, even if those people are already Patreon members, they're paying on a monthly basis, and they're paying for content, exclusive content that you wouldn't share to people who you're not charging money to. So at the end of the day, she's still charging money for those photos. Doesn't matter. I mean, the circumstances of it, she's selling this money. She's making money off of those photos. She's exploiting this child.
She said it cost her a lot of money to get the FOIA request. It cost quite a bit of money. And I actually, because I didn't believe that she did this, I was so upset because of the Kylie Rodney stuff. I went in and checked for myself, and yeah, they are actual photos, and she knows that she cannot post them on Facebook or YouTube. She knows she cannot put them on YouTube. She knows that. So they are actually behind a Patreon in a Dropbox. They're not even anywhere on YouTube. You have to go into our Patreon, pay to get in there. Once you get in there, you go into the Dropbox, and then it's a full video with everything showing. There is nothing is blurred out. And she zooms in on it, shows a very graphic, very, very graphic stuff. It's a whole video. She put it into a video, and she talks through the video. She zooms in on body parts, and it just had me fucking disgusted.
Gross,
she
man.
zooms in on his body parts?
Yeah, certain body parts, like certain wounds. She zooms in, like when it just makes me sick. Okay, so he was found in a suitcase, and when they originally opened the suitcase, the pillow and his body came out. Like when he came out of this, I don't want to be graphic with you guys, and I'm sorry, trigger warning. Do you even want me to talk about it?
You're fine. This is true crime. We discuss these things, and right now we're talking about this.
She did this. I was like, I didn't even think it was real. I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe somebody's taken this too far, and they're just looking at like different pictures of like like his blankets and pillows and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was actual body. It's very, very graphic. Very graphic. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is blurred out.
The crime scene itself is graphic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We walking
just
through
knowing that. Just knowing that that's the blood of an 11-year-old is enough to trigger you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had trouble even
in on the pillow, you guys, and I think the nastiest part that got me look, I'm stuttering because it's got me fucked up.
Right.
I think the worst part of it was when she zoomed in on the pillow and she's like, "What are these strings? What are these strings?" And they were fucking maggots.
No. What?
And oh god, it's fucking disturbing, you guys. She zooms in on the pillow and she's like, "What are these? What are these strings? I wonder what these are." And she zooms in on it and it's fucking maggots.
Okay, this is different. Like I'm envisioning as empathetic.
No, it's very no.
Photos.
That girl doesn't have empathy. That girl sits up there and plays dumb. That's what she does. She does the most nefarious crap that a YouTube creator can do. She did it with the Kylie Rodney thing, and then she was just like, I don't know. She sits there with this dumb look on her face, like I mean, what do you guys think? I don't know. And then she puts it all on her subs. And doesn't take any responsibility.
We're the drama queen.
Well, and this is why I wanted to go live and talk about it, because I'm like, I'm having a different picture in my mind. Then I'm getting all these things, emailed and sent to me, and I'm like, if everybody feels so strong, like, what am I not seeing? And yeah, if she's zooming in,
I got a bunch of messages, a bunch of emails, and I'm like, last time this happened, it was, just pictures. It was not photo, autopsy photos. So I'll go look for myself just to see if this is even true, because before I jump somebody's ass, I want to make sure to check for myself, because this could just be blankets, pillows, and things like that. You know what I mean? And some people take that into context, like, you know what I'm saying? Or they say that's very graphic to them. And sometimes it can be, but maybe it's not graphic to me like it is to them. So I went and looked for myself, and she sure as shit did. She posted them. She's there $3. You have to go in as soon as you sign into the Dropbox. It's a video of her. She has a video of it. She went through every single autopsy picture. She goes into the video, and she goes through every single picture, zooms in on the body, zooms in on the oh man, it just makes me sick to think about it, because I had a really hard time even. I called some girls and I said, "You guys, I'm like disgusted. I can't believe she even did this shit. Like, I'm appalled here. I'm like baffled she did this."
I was obsessed with this case. And I still have absolutely no desire to see those photographs. None. They do me no good in understanding the case any better. First of all, what purpose does it serve? Because justice has been served already. What are we trying to determine here? She's been found guilty. She did it. She was tried, convicted. The case is closed. It's over. What else is there to talk about? Just the fact that she's continuing to find anything that she can milk out of this case and put it behind a paywall tells you everything you need to know about her as far as what her intentions are.
Yeah, Bex, I remember that, and it's giving me that vibes too here. This is, wow. I'm a little mind blown here right now. I guess I just hadn't thought of it, to that degree. I'm thinking, because like I said, we've all seen autopsy photos and stuff. I can't recall ever seeing a minor's autopsy photos, but we've all seen them in movies and things, but they're typically adults, and it's very, it's always approached with, a clinical or a scientific approach, things like that. And what you're looking at, why you're looking at it.
Oh, this was far beyond anything you see in a movie or documentary, my love. Far beyond. This is far beyond.
Gagging. I can't. What we seen last night. Like, I called her in there. I said, "That girl, you gotta. I need you to come in here." I'm freaking out.
It is far beyond what you would normally see. Far beyond. To look at, and I used to do things like this for a living.
I called her. I said, "You used to do this, and I'm not comfortable even looking in here like this by myself, because I don't really know what I'm even looking for." Then she's like, I said, "Well, why don't you look first, because you already know what you're looking for." And I'm thinking it's just like, like,
not to look. That's how bad it is. I didn't want anybody else to see that. And again, I saw some pretty nasty stuff at work, and this takes the cake. And a price tag being put on it is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Is she calling? Like, is she encouraging people to go to her Patreon and view these? Like,
well, clearly it happened, or somebody who hasn't been on YouTube at all in months and months would not have known about it. Zav, I would like to implore you to take down that baby's body. To take down what you've done and stop putting a $3 price tag on that child's deceased human remains. He's a human. He's not something for your fodder or for your fun or for you to deep dive into. That is somebody's child. That's a baby who was beaten to death.
Oh, stop. Worse than beaten. What he went through.
Stabbed, shot.
Yeah.
Oh, believe you me, I saw it all with my eyes, and it's disgusting, and she needs to take it down. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe for 5 seconds she would actually do that. I thought our ethics differed, not that she completely lacked any.
I mean, I gotta be honest. You guys are a lot more, patient as far as exploring what her intentions are than I am, because I formed my opinion of Zav Girl back during the Kylie Rodney case.
I did too, but I didn't think she would stoop this low. And Will, you know me, you know my threshold for what I can handle. This is too much.
I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have even called you in there, but I just was like,
you worked for a mortician.
I didn't work for a mortician. I am a mortician, fool. I got a license and everything.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She's like, I've come at you. This is what I have. But Grain, you're right. I haven't wrapped my head around this yet, but you're absolutely right. Others will screenshot that and put them out there anywhere and everywhere.
And that's what I was worried. I said, like, these are not going to just stay back here behind this paywall. They're not going to stay back here. People are going to screenshot this.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's to a Dropbox, and that link is easily passed and not protected at all. She's not even.
No.
Oh, the Dropbox.
No, you go into
the
Patreon, and there's a section, and it says blah blah blah. Click here. You click there, and you have to go to a Dropbox. It's not even on her actual Patreon.
And that's because she knows she cannot put that on there. She'll get turned into Patreon for it. She'll lose her Patreon. She'll lose her YouTube, and she's got 97K. She's almost at 100K. She knows better. She knows better. That's why they're not on.
She's not being smart about it. The Dropbox has her name all over it.
Yeah, this is, girl, she needs to think about this. This is not right.
She's skirting.
How long has it been out? Do we know?
I couldn't even.
2 or 3 days. I heard about it 2 days ago. I checked it last night because I didn't have a lot of time. But Chasing, I looked at it and it's bad.
I heard about it first from Blank Screen.
At first, I was just thinking, okay, if it's, if she's showing what she got in the FOIA, and it's just part of the FOIA documents, and she's trying to be scientific, whatever.
She did say,
but every exhibit that was used during the trial that was deemed not appropriate for public consumption is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, hearing that she's on a video herself, zooming in, and I know how she speaks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
This, I wonder what this white thing is. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Zav Girl? Really?
Yeah, it was very obvious what was going on there. And Zav, again, I don't give a fuck what you say. Take that down, girl. That's not okay. There's no amount of reasoning this away. It's not okay no matter what. It's not okay.
I agree.
I would like to go as far as to say I hope they sue the pants off you and you can't do this to anybody else. This is disgusting. It's gross, girl. You're gross. You're gross.
Well, see, that's the thing. That girl is I was saying earlier, creators like her who do this type of exploitation, they count on the fact that these parents have already gone through so much that they're not going to want to deal with the conflict of having to take them to court or anything like that. They just want to move on with their lives. And that, to me, is the epitome of just low-hanging fruit and exploitation. They're just going to, she's going to play off of the fact that Landon is just totally devastated, and that Al is totally devastated, and that Al is married to a woman now who also lost a child. And these people, their only focus right now is the fact that they got justice and they want to move on with their lives and pick up the pieces as best as they possibly can. And they don't want to have to drag somebody to court and have to look at, because guess what? If this goes to court, if Landon or Al decide to sue, and it goes to court, guess what happens? They got to sit in the courtroom and look at those photos all over again, because it's going to be evidence.
Can they sue her, Glera? Because it came with a legal FOIA request, right?
Are you allowed to wait though? Are you allowed to disseminate those for pay?
Right.
I don't think that's legal, because whenever I've gotten documents under FOIA, it specifically that's not what it was for.
I'm with you, that girl. That was my question. Like, does it say on the FOIA, these are not for distribution, things like that? Is there something somewhere that you can get her on? I don't mean get her on, but you know what I'm saying? Like, try to hold against her and say, look, you need to do the right thing. That should be enough. Do the right thing and take them down. But legally, you can't do that. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is if you can even do that. So there were a bunch of questions in the chat saying, is this a live thing? What is it? So Zav Girl did a FOIA request. She got all the autopsy photos. She was on her live stream yesterday talking about it. People went in there to question her on it because she said she put them behind her Patreon paid membership over on Patreon. And people were like, the parents, what about the parents? And she said, that's a weak argument. The parents aren't watching this. You know, I had to pay a lot of money to get these, etc., whatever. So Queen and that girl paid to, you know, they went in.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went in, there is a video linked to a Dropbox
No,
that
ma'am.
is Zav
No, ma'am.
girl.
No, ma'am. It is a post,
No, ma'am.
not a
A
video.
post
It is a post that's linked to a Dropbox, and inside that Dropbox, I think it
is
was
the video.
53 or 54 minutes of her going through the document step by
Right.
step, acting like she's some
Wow.
kind of authority on this.
Is it
Oof.
Goldstein that has the screenshot of it, or was it AF? One of them had the screenshot on their channel.
Well, that's where I think my opinion changed from, okay, if she already had a Patreon and they wanted to go over the autopsy findings and all of that together, that's one thing. But her making a video of her, not a professional, going over this, zooming in and asking what maggots are on that baby's pillow, that's a whole nother level of absolutely not, ma'am.
No, that's too far.
What are you doing?
Okay, she's allowed to do that. I was looking at Patreon's terms of service.
Seriously?
Yeah, because she says that she's doing it for educational or scientific purposes. Their policy about violent or graphic material says basically just gratuitous is what it says, gratuitous. However, it says we allow limited exceptions for this type of content when it contains documentary, educational, scientific, and newsworthy elements. Additionally, content that involves competitive or religious activities such as hunting, the slaughter of animals as a part of practicing an organized religion or faith, and the professional combat sports like boxing and mixed martial arts are allowed.
Yeah, but what does the state say about her selling that?
Yeah, what does it say about an 11-year-old boy who was stabbed, beaten?
Brutally.
Yeah, I really think it would fall under CSAM.
Yeah.
So here's what it is. 2 days ago, she put this on her channel. It's a video slideshow, yeah. And so that's what it looks like.
And it's not like her Patreon is used for this a lot, you guys. There's not a lot of posts in there, period. So it's literally just for extra nasty shit she wants to put behind a paywall.
Right.
It's not a Patreon.
And that's what I was
that
wondering, yeah.
Things. No, ma'am. Not that I stayed to enjoy the fucking content or anything, but it's not.
Well, I was wondering, is it an active Patreon where her and her people are constantly in there talking about the more graphic nature of certain things that you can't talk about on YouTube?
No,
so I figured, well, maybe they're a little weird and they talk about this stuff a lot. And
no, that's not what it is.
So there's what it looks like. And so she did. First, she did this, saying thanks again for joining. The autopsy pics video is exporting. And then, but you're saying this is a Dropbox, that girl?
Yes.
Link, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like you're a Patreon and then you pay $3 to see this. You get it.
Is there a password, that girl? To get, so once you click Dropbox,
no, ma'am, I could send you the link
protected.
right now. I could send you the link right now, and you would have full access.
Okay, that's too much.
Right there. So now it's available to the whole world. Now, basically, she just put it out there to the whole world.
Yes,
that's what she did.
Because it can go to anybody, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
how
easy
many
to protect a Dropbox. What is she doing? Why not
I don't
password
know,
protect it?
I don't know because I don't use Dropbox. I just know that there's zero protection of this child.
Oh, it's very easy. You just throw a password on it. I've shared Dropbox.
No, it's just a link. It's a public link that you click. It takes you right to it. You can watch it, download it, do whatever you want.
Horrible.
Well, how many Patreon leaks have we seen before? Even if it was password protected, you know, somebody in there is going to get the link, get the password, and disseminate it.
Let me ask you this, if you don't mind, and this is graphic, so trigger warning. But for those who saw it, clearly he would be nude because it's an autopsy.
No, she did not.
Did she take the time to blur his genitalia?
No.
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 Okay.
And actually, it starts off with him under the bridge and in the suitcase, and then they took pictures of him out of the suitcase on the ground with his pillow and blanket. That's where she zooms in
on everything.
She's like, "What are these? I wonder what these strings are. Geez, you guys, I wonder what these are." And I'm like, "Are you fucking?"
She says it was too big to be a maggot, but those of us who have been in a profession know better.
And when you hear Gannon's dad talking, giving his him and the Landon, and you hear them talk about it.
Some of it was straw from the yard, but most of it were vermin that were in his makeshift coffin with him.
Oh my God!
I am very thankful for that suitcase because I think it helped.
Well, what really upset me, that girl, remember when I was like, it made me, I was like getting sick. I'm like, I can't even look at this right now. It's him. And then she puts a picture of him up.
Yeah, I refuse to listen to the commentary. But
yeah, we had to.
I think I'm pretty positive that was to prove that the teeth matched, quite frankly.
Oh my God.
As though there was any question that it was him. There's already been a trial and she's convicted, you dumb person.
Right. Like,
wait,
that's
she was comparing teeth?
No, like, I think that
I think you need to hear it. I'm going to email you a StreamYard link because I think you need to see this for yourself.
He's on this, where he's laying and how he's laying. You can see his mouth, and due to severe decomposition, his teeth are exposed. And I think that's why she next put up a picture of him where you could see his teeth while do it. All I know is that it was very obvious.
Blair has followed this so closely, and so have I. I feel like it's my own relative. You know what I mean?
Right.
What is she doing?
Tattoos. Do y'all remember when people were getting tattoos of him?
Yeah.
It's fucking sad. And you know what? He's got a little sister that's going to grow up in the internet era.
Yeah.
And her to Google her brother's name and have these fucking photos up, or any, because we already know how leaks work.
I mean,
I understand people want to look at stuff.
Yeah,
I get the more curiosity. I understand that, but you know what? You don't put it behind the fucking paywall on the internet for other people to be. You know,
I'm saying they're
just look at it yourself.
Already, is what I'm saying. Like, people in the chat are already saying that now they have been put on Reddit within the last few hours or days.
Oh my God.
That's where they're coming from.
I mean, it's just a matter of time
potentially
before Elena gets old enough to where she just Googles images of her brother, and then that pops up.
Yep, and that's exactly my concern right there. It may not be the parents that are upset, and the parents may be, so upset that they don't want to deal with it. But you have to remember, he's got a little sister that's going to be growing up in this. The internet's forever. It's just
also, the fact that there are very sick human beings out there. Think about like Gacy and Dahmer, and these people can use this stuff for nefarious, disgusting reasons. You don't want,
Well, there's a
you
reason
don't want this baby's photos to end up on some.
There's a reason it costs hundreds of dollars. If they wanted the average public Joe to have access to this, they would not charge hundreds of dollars for it, you guys.
Exactly.
It would be like some of the other documents that you can get for free.
And the only reason she would spend hundreds of dollars on them is if she thought she could make hundreds of dollars in return.
Mean thousands? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, also too, if she wanted to see them, then you see them for your own reasoning. If I was thinking she must have like a core group of people who they just do this kind of stuff where they're so into these cases that they like pick them apart and do all the stuff. But if she's not even active on her Patreon, and this isn't a regular typical group activity of studying cases, then you are doing this solely for the morbid curiosity and to make money.
Right.
Let me give one more time for the new people coming in. Sorry, real quick for the new people coming. Someone. Okay. For the new people coming in, we're talking about Zav Girl. She put Gannon's autopsy photos on her Patreon and then promoted it on her YouTube channel. These are nude photos, graphic photos showing very explicit things of a 11-year-old little boy who was brutally murdered. And I just keep seeing more and more questions about like who we're discussing and why. So I wanted to go over that one more time. Sorry, that girl. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, Tracy, and there was no evidence that that is the case, in my opinion. But even if it were, this is still disgusting to me.
Well, you know what I'm curious about is why things like, why things like this aren't covered under HIPAA. You know, because
no, HIPAA is really about
your health information
that
portability and privacy.
That protects you more from medical professionals.
Yeah, I'm not a medical professional. I can
for
share
medical
other
professionals.
Well, and HIPAA, you guys,
Yeah.
I could do this as a mortician. HIPAA's not the same once you're dead. That's not. It's just not.
No.
And once you're in a case, you're in a crime case, you're in a MURDER case, all these things.
You can say murder.
Okay. I didn't know what the rules are. I know I've dropped a couple F-bombs. I'm sorry. I'm so pissed off.
No, you're fine.
You don't. Once you die and part of an investigation, if that investigation is not sealed, there's no HIPAA. You guys, you're dead.
No. Yeah, and HIPAA is. I've taken so many courses on HIPAA because I have to. HIPAA doesn't apply to any of this type of stuff. Additionally, this is 100% legal, but CAPE just posted that they read on the FOIA information that disseminating the information once you've paid for it and received it and all of that, it is illegal, right? So
that's what I've always
cannot do that.
Right. Kate said if you're a third party requesting records about a specific individual, that individual is required to authorize the release of those records.
What she's doing can't possibly be legal under this Information Act, you guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. Can I just finish my thought about HIPAA?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, because I know what HIPAA is because I deal with medical records every day in my job. What I was trying to get is that there should be some sort of extension of that for people, like only authorities that need to see this and not be a part of a FOIA. I mean, anything, your counselor, your psychiatrist records, even if you're dead, why does somebody from the general public need to know this stuff?
It's only because it was part of the court case, Miss Sherry. Otherwise, it would be accessible. And once you've been in an investigation, because of the way we do our court systems to stay transparent, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to, if it's not a record, it has to be sealed by a judge or everybody can see it if they pay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's a legal thing.
Right. No, my point is that in trial, those records were obtained by a professional with a direct interest in it. But
it became part of the legal case. And once it's part of the case, no matter what it is, once it's in the file held by the court and you do a FOIA request, you get everything in that file unless it's been sealed. To your point, that graphic information probably should have been sealed by whoever and let the rest of the trial documentation be released.
Right.
But
and
that's
what I'm looking at, is that because me or Zav Girl or my next door neighbor, why do we have to personally have copies of this? Why? And if we're not supposed to disseminate them, what other thing is there in the purpose of having these things other than to make money? And that's not supposed to be happening.
Right. And Sarah, you're absolutely right. People think they can stomach that stuff, but seeing those photos is life-changing. They never leave you. They don't. I've seen those photos before. Yeah, we've seen some autopsy photos, but like from a murder.
I've only seen Tupac's.
Completely
That's it, because I want to know if he was dead.
I've never seen a minor, nor do I want to, because it just feels wrong.
I just Googled Jesse James's picture because I just recently rewatched a movie about him but he was fully dressed in the photo where he was deceased. Like he was put out on display, you know what I mean? Like the photograph, because pictures were new back then. And he was put out on display, you know, as like, oh my God, this is the great Jesse James. This is his body. He's dead.
They did a tour with him.
Right.
They moved his body from place to place.
But we're talking about, first of all, he was fully dressed, and he was arguably the most notorious American outlaw that there ever was. So I mean,
they released one picture of Tupac, and he had a sheet covering his entire bottom half. You only got to see his chest. That's it. That's all.
Comparing this to Jesse James, is that why you brought that out, Claire?
Do what now?
Was somebody trying to compare this to the
No. I just, it made me think of, like, as far as like my curiosity of wanting to see a photograph of a deceased person. Yeah. That's as far as mine goes, is the illustration, what I was trying to illustrate.
Yeah, and there's a huge post-mortem fantasy groups. There are people that they just want to look at that, everything post-mortem. And so, you know, and what concerns me is maybe more her subscribers, you know, the people that condone this and whatnot. And that's not my place to say, you know, they're wrong, but it does concern me.
Are you seeing where Tattooed Birdie is saying that now the Dropbox link is on Reddit? The whole
See? Again, it was never protected in any way. All you had to do was click the link and you're there. You can download, you can do whatever you want. That's not shocking at all. I'm surprised it didn't happen faster.
See, that's what it boils down to, because now it just comes off as her whole motive was to be the person who leaked it. Not even.
Yeah, I got a screen. Hold on, her screenshot says here. I was trying to send it to Deets, but I actually put that thing in the back chat for chasing. But this is what her post says. Which I was gonna go live and talk about this anyway. So I'm glad you guys are. I'm gonna send this over to Deets because we were so upset yesterday. She says, okay, so 11 days ago, it says, hey, you all, I just got a bunch of Letitia Stout case files I'm gonna be releasing. So there's some new videos and info, and also some videos they played in court, but the quality wasn't the best. So I have the originals where it's not a recording of a crooked TV screen. If you're interested, keep your eyes out for my videos. I'm going to get them out as fast as I can. There's some that might take longer because, for instance, all the text messages, I like to read them for you. So those will take some time, but I'm going to try to get them out as soon as I can. So 11 days ago, she knew she was getting this case file.
Tragedy pimping.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff became available after the trial, like the interrogations, and I went over those, and I was even standoffish about that in the first place because I was like, the case is closed. What purpose does it serve? What are we going to learn from this? And then, and it was my audience that was like, please go over it. And then I was like, all right, you know, and then as I did it, I was like, okay, I could see this. This is different than watching it on a trial. This is us being able to just watch this clearly and be able to pause it when we need to and discuss what's being said and study her behavior more or less. I get that. And then I felt kind of better about it. But overall, even just going over the Letitia's interrogations after the trial was already over, I still felt like, I don't know, man. You know, is that necessary? Like, is it?
Okay, I want to clear one thing up. The Tattooed Birdie, what you sent me, that's not the autopsy photos. That is the video that Zav Girl went over about a week ago with all the other crime scene evidence. I actually went over that with Joneson on her channel, and it does not have anything what we're talking about up here in it. That's just, you know, here's this box, the tote, things like that. So that is a different link, unless it's somewhere else in this Reddit thread.
My experience with pictures of this kind of graphic nature, they will normally be a different part. Like you will know that that's the section required and what it contains. And it costs more money, even if they're your direct relative.
I'm so sorry, anybody who's seen these and is traumatized by it. I know that it's
well, if you clicked on it, you clicked on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude, but I didn't think she really fucking did it, man.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
Graphic.
Not-
I'll tell you that right now. I made me sick. I'm not used to seeing that kind of shit, and that shit did. I was not ready. I was not fucking ready.
I warned you.
but,
I warned
but
you.
I know, but I just wasn't. I didn't think it was. I thought it was going to be like pillows, the blankets, the bed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Girl, I would
Like
warn
what
you over
she did on
pillow.
the other video, which I mean, that's.
I'm not questioning your motives as to why you clicked on it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm
No,
just
I
saying.
know, but I'm saying you get what you get. You're saying you get what you get, and you can't throw a fit. But I didn't think she actually.
Right.
I thought there was no way she would put unedited photos of this child out like.
Oh, for
Right.
sure she would.
So,
Well, I know that now.
nice EB. This isn't against YouTube's policy because she's not putting those on YouTube. So
Right.
it has to be a Patreon policy that she would be violating.
Well, I would like to make
Yes, if she
clear-
did put those on YouTube, absolutely.
I would like to make it clear that she did use one of the far out shots of him under the bridge on one of her thumbnails. Saw it myself today, it made me sick. But even though he was unclothed and he was not blurred or anything, I mean, obviously there was no close up of that area.
Why? Why?
It
Why?
wasn't blurred, so whether you could pull on what he, it still should have been covered, in my opinion. Because I know it's coming.
Why
Somebody's
would you
gonna say,
use
couldn't
that?
directly see it, but yes, it's there, covered, and it's not okay, in my opinion.
No, it isn't. You're 100% right. That's fucking gross.
Well,
And
you know
what-
that
gross.
argument's coming. People are going to
You
say,
bring
well, you couldn't directly see it, but yeah, it was there.
Mm.
It's not covered. That's enough.
But what is she going to bring to the table either? Like, even let's just say, for the sake of argument, he was covered up and she did blur the stuff out. I mean, what is she going to, she's going to sit there and go, what is that? Oh my God, is that what I think it is? Yikes. That's the extent of it. There's nothing, she's not going to bring anything educational to it because she's not educated. She's not educated in that field. She's not educated in any relating field. There's nothing that she can bring to it other than, oh, yo, guys, this is crazy. Do you guys want to see this? That's it. There's nothing else to it, which is just pure exploitation. Because even if it doesn't, even if she's not making any direct money off of it, in some way, shape, or form, it causes her to be controversial, which in turn builds her channel. She still benefits no matter what. Whether it's sick, whether it's just to shock, or whether it's to make money, she benefits. And she's the only one who benefits. Nobody else does, because we're not getting any educational perspective from it, are we?
I think that's why she kept her name on the Dropbox, because then it was very easy to find her after you got there, regardless of the link.
Right. She's a lot slicker than she makes herself out to be. She's real big on like her whole Kylie Rodney content was going over videos of this party and then pointing out potentially minors and going, who's that? We're going to find out that person's name. That person looks suspicious to me. That person. And these are all just kids attending a party who had nothing to do with anything. And she built her channel that way. She built her channel on exploiting people who could or may or may not be minors. She didn't care. She just wanted to find out who this girl knew, and she could point fingers at and start raising questions and make people suspicious of them and go, let's look into them.
Well, that's because what she did with Nicole Kessinger too, if you remember.
She did that with Nicole Kessinger?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh,
sir.
I didn't even remember her from back then.
That's where I originally found her, was for
wow, she goes that far?
Yes. I believe she was making videos before you were. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she goes way back. I was scrolling through today.
Wow. Yeah, she's trash, man.
No, that should be. That's just...
Well, that tells me all I need to know, I suppose, because I had no idea she was part of all of that too.
Yes, ma'am, she was.
Wow. Real.
She's a Lost Island person. That makes all the sense in the world.
All the sense now, Glitter. Now I'm like, oh, well, there's that. Forget it.
Well, in that case, that actually makes me feel slightly better in the sense that, like, if we're, in lieu of the conversation that we were having about someone taking action and making an example, because we know that Frankie Ruchek Jr., well, the Rucheks, they're taking action against YouTubers who are exploiting their case and spreading false information. So if she did that in that case, maybe she's on their list, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if she did or
One
not.
can only pray.
I would like to add, telling their stories, their comment that you highlighted. That's a great comment. I actually work on cadavers. We would prepare them for the gross anatomy labs in my embalming labs. And we not only would shave their heads, and we would bloat them by over embalming so that they would be unrecognizable. If you were to have your mother's donated body, outside of tattoos, obviously, guys,
right,
gross anatomy lab, and you're a student, the point is that you would not know that that is who you were working on. So it's just not the same.
Well, and that's why I guess I was envisioning in my head before you described it, I was envisioning a very scientific, clinical description type video, you know, maybe.
Well, in the paperwork, it most certainly is in the paper. No.
And that would be a different story, even though I would still have huge reservations about it being a minor, but that would be a little different. This doesn't sound like it's for research or education or anything like that. It sounds like it's a drive to get.
Well, there's not a question how he died, so I don't see how it can be for research.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, what are we gonna get? What kind of education we get from somebody who is wearing a Grateful Dead T-shirt and shrugging her shoulders for content the whole time? Well, I don't know. Let me show this. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's all she does. She has no insight whatsoever.
Yeah, she was just curious and wanted to. Oh.
I don't know. I just the gross anatomy lab bodies aren't the same as what was here, you guys.
Me too.
Can you listen, Deets, to how she reacted?
I was just gonna say, let me go ahead and share how she reacts to this. This was, this was last night. I didn't see where she first posted it. Someone was talking about it in chat. I don't know if they reshared with me, but this is last night at the end of her live when people come in and call her out on it. So let's see.
Wait, what do you want? Do you want over to the hive? Where's the hive?
There are few people that I can't stand on YouTube, and she is one of them. Just the sight of her, just acting dumb, is just so annoying to me.
I'm only dropping her link for fair use and all that jazz.
What?
You don't even have to do that. But you know, I mean, I'm not.
I know, but we're talking
like
about
a big
her.
insult. I don't know. What did I do? Because I said she's in shock. That means that I'm taking her side. I mean, people are allowed to have reactions. I mean, I understand morally bankrupt. What?
Hear it first about what they're asking
about. That she seemed like she was in shock when they said she was dead. That means I'm morally bankrupt.
Hey, Allie.
I don't understand.
It's good to see you.
I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I didn't even say I think what she did was good, or she's a good person. I said no. She seemed like she was in shock. I'm guessing that's what you were talking about. I can't. You don't deserve to have that name. No. I feel like I remember you last time. You confused me because you would be mean and nice. And I'd be confused because of your name. Yeah, I guess, if it's like people want you to be, people look at things black and white. It's either all bad or all good. We are complex beings. People aren't all bad and all good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shut up.
We're more complex than that.
Know,
so
right?
there's all
such an excuse
really
to.
Like her, she's gonna have some goodness in her too. It's just not black and white. Like you're bad, you're good. It's not like the movies, okay? So you can look at somebody and be like, okay, I understand that maybe this caused that. Not saying that anybody that goes through that is going to end up like that. But you could understand somebody, and some people don't have their biology and their tools. Some people could have years of abuse and they don't repeat the cycle, and some people do repeat the cycle. Everybody's born different with different tools, environmental, biological. So everybody has different different levels of how much they could take and how much that.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second for commentary. Is that too fast for you all? And then also, Terry, I can't find it. I've scrolled way up. I don't know if you'd mind repeating or reposting that one more time. But if it's too fast, let me know.
I can understand her fine.
Yeah, I can, but I know and some people aren't able to. So right now she's just really confused. I just wanted to start at the beginning, and she's about to go into all of her reasonings.
Can I just say one thing? Yes, that's what I was going to say. You took my line, ho.
I know.
She's always confused.
Boomer baby, that's what she really reminded me of here. Not gonna lie. Okay.
I don't even know how to explain it, but if you really think that black and white, then yes, please change your name, because that name means way more than what you're giving it. You're confusing people. Anyway. Same reasoning though, same reasoning. So what do you mean come to the hive? I'm right here. Why do you guys keep saying I'm right here? You say come to the hive? I don't even know what that means, but I'm in the chat. I'm right here.
She knows what that means.
Mm-hmm.
She knows
no explanation.
Knows exactly what that means.
Same reason that they played it in the trial is to understand the whole freaking case. I did it privately. There's no explanation. It's the same reason that they played it in the trial is to understand the whole freaking case. I did it privately. People that privately have a mind like mine that want to know the whole thing. Like, I don't know if you understand.
Can I interject here
for just an emotional way.
Yep, I'm gonna slow her down while she's doing it to 1.25. But yeah, go ahead.
So here she is saying we want to understand the case. Here's the thing: is the trial was streamed. Everyone went over this trial. This trial was very public. There's no better way to understand a case than when you have a prosecutor presenting a case trying to get justice for this child. So all of the facts of the case that are relevant were presented in this trial. Everything that we need to know about this case already happened. There's nothing new that's going to be made available that's going to be some sort of revelation. It's just that could happen when
he went over these in great detail. I remember that from the trial. He, discussed everything about what the jury was seeing and why they were seeing it, how it happened, and all that. So that's already been discussed.
Right.
Can I say one thing? I just want to say, how would Zav girl feel if, let's say, one of her relatives were brutally murdered, and then one of the YouTubers just basically did a FOIA request and put the photos of their deceased corpse in the back of a paywall for $3, and then said, "Oh, guys, we just want to learn how this person. You just want to learn, guys." How would she feel?
She doesn't have any.
She said it was a weak argument.
Oh, that's a weak argument? Okay.
Yeah, that's what she
said.
Okay.
I think that shows one thing she's lacking: sympathy.
Yeah, that's what we're trying
kindness.
To listen and hear what all she said here, because we want to use her words, right? We want to hear her words and her side of it.
Okay, well, now it's precedence. Okay, she said it. She gave you all consent. Just saying.
Oh. Okay, let's see a little more.
Look at like a science, and I want to know when I study a case, I like to know every single detail. And I knew there was people that are like me, and it has nothing to do with like a gross thing, because that's gross that you're thinking of it like that, because it's not. It's to learn. It's to learn. And that's
gaslighting, projecting asshole.
Doctors could go through it. It's not a gross thing. It's something to learn a case. Okay. I love science. I need to know every little detail if I can, and I was able to.
Okay, you need to know every little detail if you can, and you were able to because you got, you put in the FOIA, you sent in the money, you got the items back. Why did you have to put it behind a paywall and share it with everyone about this little boy?
And where's the scientific explanation? Why didn't she contact somebody? I mean, she could have contacted that girl or somebody who at least had some sort of education in that field.
You can't contact me, girl. You're gross. My thing is if that's really what it was for, then why wouldn't we just say, email me at this special email address and I will respond to you with a link? If that's what it was for, and that's the only thing it's for, there was no reason for it to go behind a paywall ever.
That's what I'm saying. It never needed to go behind a paywall for other people to give you money for and then distribute it if they want to, or for you to put it in a Dropbox with a link that is not password protected. This is completely different than what she's saying.
I don't watch Zav Girl too much, but does she actually explain anything like scientifically or anything like that, or does she just say, "I'm confused, guys"? What do you guys think? Like, how the hell are you going to explain anything?
She matched certain parts of pictures up to like she showed where in the report it proved that was a projectile you were looking at. But no, she can't present anything scientifically. She is not a scientist, sir. She's not a trained professional. She doesn't know what she's doing to be able to do that, in my opinion.
Okay, let's hear.
And at least reach out to somebody who's scientifically educated in that field, that where you can reference to them and ask them questions. You know, like, I mean, anybody with common sense. I mean,
I guess Dr. Letitia wasn't available.
I don't claim to be educated in any way. So a lot of times you'll hear me and I'll be like, well, I wish I had a lawyer in the chat right now that I could reference to and ask this question to, or I wish I had a doctor in the chat right now. Mm-hmm. You at least do that to some degree, to where you try to find somebody. If you're going to release these photographs and say it's for scientific reasons, you better have some sort of basis of some sort of scientific insight.
Right.
And just like also, that said, she can't, because she doesn't have the education. She's not a scientist. She doesn't have any scientific insight because she's not educated in that field at all.
Another big thing, we're supposed to technically transform, add value, a number of things. Like if we get a strike for doing something, or we've just reused content or something like that, they tell you you're supposed to, you're creators. That's what you're here to do, create stuff. You don't just play other shit or go over other shit. You have to add value. You have to add transformation in some way. So even on her video of whatever she did in the Dropbox, technically, why isn't she trying to add something to it with her expertise?
She did.
Well, because she doesn't have any.
Somebody who actually saw it, she feel like in her mind, that's what she was doing.
Chasing, she did. Yeah. She renamed the file with her name on it, and she said, "Hey guys, what do you think?" That's her transformation.
Yeah, I mean, really, though.
That's not
seriously.
It would have been different.
You have to do something.
The actual file. I think sharing the actual file would have been appropriate than what she
did.
Did.
Yeah. Yes. Add the file and leave it there. Don't portray yourself as you did this for scientific purposes when you have no basis in, your profession isn't science. You're not teaching us anything that we didn't learn in the trial. You haven't transformed it except zooming in and asking what maggots are to make it even more traumatic for the people watching. You didn't even blur out this baby's genitalia. Okay? So what you did was traumatize a group of people and his family and his future family, and maybe gave fodder to or viewing stuff to nasty people. You didn't add any educational value, is what I'm saying.
Well, she didn't respect this kid's dignity at all.
No.
She didn't even attempt to do that.
It makes me so sad. Ugh.
And you can read, right, Hakab, you can totally read the autopsy. Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah.
So many other.
She could have read it out, right? She could have read it out. She could have transformed it. She could have taken the pictures and blurred certain things and gone over it and read it to better understand it, looked up terms, all kinds of stuff you could have done with that. And instead you're zooming in on maggots?
Googled, yeah. She could have at least Googled, and she didn't even make any effort, from what I'm understanding, like to even try to understand herself what she was looking at.
So you can't say it's for education.
Some people will do things to say they're trying to understand, but some people aren't smart enough to understand. And again, I'm going to repeat, I did not listen to all her commentary because she was making me want to vomit.
I mean, that's fair too. I was just wondering if this was truly, if her arguments to stand and playing devil's advocate, what did she do to make this more educational for people other than them watching the trial? Was there something beneficial she added to this?
Unedited.
I mean, it doesn't appear that way.
I didn't see anything.
The only thing that would make it more beneficial than what you saw in the trial is the fact that it's not edited to protect the dignity of the victim.
Okay.
Not talking about his boy parts, the area region. I'm talking about period. They don't show that during the trial to the public at wide because it's not fucking appropriate.
Right. So basically, if there's a checklist of what not to do,
she did
as far as yeah.
Okay, let's hear a little more. Nessie V, thank you so much. You're absolutely right. Common sense, not so common. Completely. A lot of people are lacking it.
I bought the files. I was able to have every detail. It's not about being gross. It's about learning about a freaking case. And I knew if I had that kind of mind, there's going to be other people that are like me that like to know every single detail. And you did. We learned a lot. There was a lot of people. Well, it was a private viewing.
Well, what else are you going to learn?
Wait.
Not that many people.
She said it was a private viewing. No, it's not a private viewing. You've made it public.
About learning about a freaking case. And I knew if I had that kind of mind, there's going to be other people that are like me that like to know every single detail. And you did. We learned a lot. There was a lot of people. Well, it was a private viewing. It was a private thing. Not that many people seen it. It was a private, a private thing that the people that wanted to see it. And they learned.
So Deets,
like me
on Reddit.
Learn about the crime because we don't.
Deets, I think she also had a private viewing. Maybe she did like a whole fucking thing, bro. Oh
Did
my
she
God.
have like a let's go over this?
Well, it kind of reminds me of like reminds me a little bit of like.
There's a comment section, you guys. There's a comment section on the actual video, and then like in the Dropbox, I saw comments, and then also in the Patreon, there's a comment section.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like someone collecting a fee to like just see something horrible, kind of something like that. It's just
It was like Faces of Death times 20.
Yeah. It's like the kid is not, you shouldn't be making like some sort of amusement park theme.
What's funny is Faces of Death even had enough scruple to not show an 11-year-old dead child in any of their movies. I used to watch them when I was a kid.
Oh, that explains it a lot. No, I'm joking.
Well, they would show like animals being slaughtered, like cows being slaughtered in a slaughterhouse and things like that. And there was like a guy who jumped off a building or something like that. But even they had enough scruples to not show a deceased child, and even if they did, there would be commentary and they would say, you know what I mean? They would have an interview with a doctor of some sort, explaining what you're looking at and whatnot. I mean, she didn't even make the effort to do that, is the point that I think Chasing was trying to make here too, is she didn't even so much as make the effort to try to appear that the purpose of this was educational.
No, she just wanted to see this and share it with others. And then
I think that's what really bothers me too.
Right.
This whole private viewing, I don't know if she just said it wrong, but it just made it sound like she gathered up her girlfriends and they
think she meant.
I don't
You
know.
know what? I'm cool if that's the only thing that ever happened. Like I was saying earlier, you and your friends are into this stuff and you went and paid hundreds of dollars. And you really do this stuff. This is what you do. Okay.
If any of my friends invited me to a group chat where we looked at a deceased body of a child, I'd be like, we're not friends anymore. We're getting the fuck off my computer. Don't even call me. Don't delete my number. Get the fuck away from me. Because that's weird.
I see what Chasey is saying, though. She's saying, like,
in true crime, people are weird, right? So you might like going over every single detail. And maybe there's a group of 8 women who enjoy it, but that's not what happened, ma'am.
I've privately interacted with other creators because we know that publicly is probably not something that we should discuss or show.
Yeah.
But you interact with other creators and go, what do you think of this? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it happens all the time. I can't even count on one hand how many creators I've done that with.
I feel like people,
and a lot of time it's respect. You don't want to disrespect
99% of the
that you're talking about.
I feel like people are disconnected from reality, because if you actually went and told this to a normal person on the street and says, me and my friends, we had a viewing party of a deceased child's body and on photos, and we really wanted to just
a party. It just the way
it's a viewing party, guys. Don't they would look at you like you had 5 heads and they would walk down the fucking way.
I agree.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
My husband would be like, get rid of the app, bitch. It's over.
I'm going to respectfully decline your invitation to your viewing party. Thank you.
I do not want to. Never send me an invite for that, y'all.
Right? Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
a
I'm
minor
good.
child who was brutally murdered. Let's not forget that.
Because there's no reason to. There's no good that can come from it at this point. The trial's over. There's nothing. I mean, what are you going to understand?
You know what I understood? I understood that I wish Letitia was dead too the day it happened. That's what I understood.
Pretty much, yeah. We saw justice served. I was content with that. That's it. You know what I mean? Like the entire case.
The fact that
was presented to ensure a conviction. All the evidence that they had was presented to ensure a conviction. We're not going to see anything new.
The fact that even just hearing what happened to him in detail during the trial was a lot. It was a lot for a lot of people, a lot of true crime people who are, continually doing this day after day, or people who stream trials. It was a lot for them to hear, because just the description of it alone was traumatizing, triggering, all those words. But to actually see it, go through it, and then throw a viewing party, I don't have any kind words. I'm sorry. I just don't. Let's hear a little bit more over.
There's still a mystery what happened, and we wanted to know. Like, I learned about what happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. So the fact that you guys are viewing it as gross, that just shows you like that your mentality of looking at it like that. We're not looking at it like a gross thing. We're looking at it to learn. So you could you could judge me however you want, but to me it's science, and I learned a little bit about a case that I was invested in. So
well, we're not saying the autopsy is gross. We're saying you
so
wanting to show it is gross.
We looked at it like adults. Okay.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I was saying she's painting the picture like we're saying that the autopsy photos are gross. That's not what's being said. What's being said is she's gross for wanting to show them. That's she's deflecting from that. It's like no. It's not. No, nobody has a problem with an education here. If it's educational, then it's educational. That's fine, but it's not for educational purposes. You're not showing any reason why it would be educational. We're questioning whether we're questioning whether or not you're gross for wanting to show them to people. That and
she didn't have the permission. She's not a professional to educate anyone.
Right.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Would you guys feel different? I don't know that girl, if there's a top mortician or coroner or Emmy in your field that, you think of who does content on YouTube. But if that person were to have gone through this privately on their Patreon and, truly used it for educational purposes, would you feel differently about it?
I swear to Jesus, I am not personally being obtuse. There's not a professional that I know that would ever do anything like this, ever, not any platform, not in any way, form, or fashion. No.
Yeah.
I would say I would respect if a true years of profession came out and wanted to virtually teach students, and as part of the curriculum, part of understanding better, they wanted to privately go over that in a educational setting. I would say that's fine. I wouldn't view it as, oh, you morbid bastard. It's what they're doing for their educational, course. You may want to do it virtual. You can't get together. It's a teaching moment, something like that. That's one thing. But a YouTuber with no formal training who is putting it behind a paywall, very different.
It hasn't even made the effort to bring someone on with formal training to help explain what you're looking at.
Well, listen, Claire.
Very
Dr.
different.
Letitia is busy. she's got her YouTube channel. She can't come on. What's your problem, Clarence? She can't get Dr. Letitia on her show for this. Like last time when she had Dr. Letitia read the autopsy record of Kylie Rodney and went over all the details.
And I also agree with Chasing, because normally, like in that kind of setting that's taking place in, the parents have consented to the use of their child's image.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Very different than any of this. If a professional is out here, I'm going to give a lot more credence to an attorney with years in a practice than I'm going to over me, who's taken 2 criminal justice courses and likes true crime. It's very different to listen to an attorney tell you about something than a storyteller.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. It's a completely different ballgame. You know, we take notice when Mystery Maven comes in and gives us a little tidbit.
Right.
She's a professional.
If she was doing this all the time, Deets, if that girl was known for going over autopsies, it's her thing, that'd be different, maybe. It would be like, yeah, you're very weird, but it's what you do, and you seem to have a firm grasp on understanding what you're saying. Then I might be like, okay, I understand it. You're a weird lady, but you have an audience for this, and you respect the victim. And, okay, move along with your day, ma'am. I wouldn't care.
You're not.
But this way is so...
And I don't see a professional signing off in the first place. Like, I can't imagine a professional being approached by her and not asking, well, what's the overall purpose here? You know what I mean? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this? Because the case is already closed. What is there to understand
and
about the case at this point?
They would actually also probably ask, how can I help you get your point across? What are you trying to teach? And how can I help you get to that objective?
Well,
if she just says, well, because we want to understand the case. And he would say, go watch the trial. There's no need to go do this.
Exactly.
So,
well, maybe it's to teach how maybe it's to teach how low you can go for YouTube views.
That's a possibility.
You can go pretty low.
You're absolutely right. We're going to get to that. I was going to bring it up next, but yeah, we're going to get to that video too. But let's hear a little more of, I don't even want to say reasonings. This is excuses. It's not reasoning.
I learned about a case that I was invested in. And so did others, because we're mature adults, you know, and so we looked at it not like little kids. Like,
how are we though?
We looked at it like adults, okay? So stop it. So sick of it. You asked me. I was going to ignore it, Sunshine J. Jeremy. Did you not ask to explain? People were asking explain. If I didn't answer, you'll be like, oh, you're not answering. I have an answer. Yeah, because that's my answer. Would you not want an answer? Of course I have an answer. You asked me why I did it. I answered you. So shut up, dude. You guys are the immature. No, I'm not. No, this is you guys. That is so
See,
childish.
this is her realizing
a childish way to look at. Like, ew, oh my god, don't show them. I did it privately for people that wanted to learn more about the case, because we are adults and I love science and it helped me learn about the case. My mind.
How did this help her learn?
I like to love science. I like to visualize everything. Like, I'm very I don't even know what the word is, but there's a lot of people out there that study true crime.
Stupid. Opportunistic.
Little things. So anything that we could possibly learn about a case that we invest so many hours into, we want to.
She
and
sure
it's
did.
About learning. It's not about grossness or whatever you guys are weird way of thinking is. Sorry. No.
Yes, it's our fault for thinking this.
No, we're saying you're gross.
The people came in my Patreon privately. So, you know, they did it at the trial. Why don't you go yell at anybody that offered the WebEx? It was all at the trial. I mean,
what?
No.
Good Lord.
What was described, and I have the link. I haven't clicked on it to watch it or anything yet, but just what Queen Bee and that girl described, that is not what was shown at the trial.
No. They're two different things. It's a legal case.
Trial.
The reason they showed it was
it
so
would
that
not
the
go
coroner...
down like this just did. That's not what happened in the trial, ma'am. You're wrong, Zab.
The purpose was to illustrate what the coroner was testifying to. That was the only reason they were shown.
That's because the jury needed to convict this monster, not because
Exactly.
it's staff, and they didn't put it on the screen for everybody to see for a damn reason.
Not for our morbid curiosity.
Right.
It's truly for a purpose during the trial. That's a completely different ball game. It's not a sound comparison at all. It's horrible. Sarah's, I'm judging.
You don't get this mad. Like, you see how she gets really mad and get offended like this without like realizing that maybe those people have a point.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. She's just getting defensive because she knows that there's merit for her being attacked right now.
Learn anything because we're adults. They didn't block it out at the trial. Just some people, the creators that streamed it, blocked it out. But some people showed it. Some people played the whole thing. It's up to however people want to do it. Like, I don't blame the people that wanted to block it out that were streaming to the public, but I don't judge the people that didn't block it out. But did they block it out at the trial? No, that was shown. It's just some of the people streaming it put out blocks, but they showed it at the trial because we were an adult and it's a part of the case. So go yell at all the people that.
How about you ask yourself, why did the creators block it out?
Are they gross? Yeah, thanks.
That's a
It wasn't blocked out in court because it was necessary to prove the prosecution's case.
SP, that is so funny. I am the least. Where do you ever see me asking? One time I had to because I wanted to make it private. So the only time you'll ever see me freaking pushing anything that has to do with cash. You know how hard that is for me to even say Patreon when these creators, every video will say, join my Patreon. When do you ever see me doing that? The only reason I did that is because I knew there was people that wanted to see it like me. So there was no other way to do it is to do it a private way. So I did it on my Patreon. Well,
now, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe she doesn't push her Patreon a whole lot like a bunch of creators. I have no clue. I don't watch her to that.
Well,
degree.
that's only because she doesn't always have information as salacious to this and wish to make money. Let's be real.
Right. Because she could have absolutely done the private Dropbox with a password, Zav, with a password, and shared it with, her core group of members who were like, yeah, you got these. I'm interested in seeing them also or something. I don't know. That's even bizarre saying, but she could have.
He's like, with the password, Zav, the password.
Right. It's just horrific to think that that Dropbox is now going to be shared with so many people out there online.
I didn't blur the photos and I didn't cover them. It was part of the trial. And I found it very important in the moment because it was so emotional and I was so angry at that moment. And if his parents had to look at it, then I had to look at it too. And, you're not just here for the good parts.
That's one way to look at it. I looked at it like, well, it was.
I really struggled.
Trial, but not for my viewers.
Yeah, I totally struggled.
Necessary for the jury, but not for my viewers. My viewers are not the jury. That's the way I look.
I even said there are some creators who are covering it right now who won't show this, and if you're more comfortable, you should definitely go there. I said I struggled with it. We knew it was coming up. I feel like what she did to him was so brutal that if we're sitting here and we're watching this, we've got to do it. Makes me kind of sick. But then after, I was like, oh, I don't know. I kept it on the small boxes, and I felt sick.
I think I may have even said, if you feel the need to see these photos, then there are other creators that are covering it that are probably.
And I said it the same way. Yeah.
Go over to Chasings. I remember it because you said go over there because she is showing it. Yeah, you did do that.
And Gray was showing it. But then there were a lot who weren't. I said, like the Glara's not showing it right now. There are several who aren't showing it. I don't know. You got to make up your own minds. And I said that early on too. I think they're going to show stuff today, and I don't know if they're going to cover it. But my decision is, we're watching this. We're watching it. The whole thing.
Right.
And that was it. Ugh. It was gross. I didn't look either though. So there's that, right?
Yeah.
I left it up, but I couldn't look.
I didn't look when it was being aired because I was just listening. And like I'm going to say here to Katie, yeah, they explained it in enough graphic detail for you to understand and hurt. And I think that was the day, like, oh man, it was a lot that day. It surely was. And
but it's so different in that context too, right, Deets? Like you're listening to them.
a jury and you want justice for him and what had happened to him, and the way that it was described wasn't zooming in and saying, oh my God, is that a maggot? That's a completely different scenario. Completely.
They did it very respectfully, but I glanced, I saw, and was like, okay, I can't do that. And I mean, all of us were tearing up. All of us were heartbroken that we knew what was on that screen.
Yeah, shit was rough.
It was awful. It was awful. And for her to do, like, I'm tearing up now, and it was months ago. So I know that anybody going in there and not expecting to see the same type of thing they saw at the trial, I can't imagine.
And I've taken care of people like this and dealt with their screaming, crying mothers, and I didn't cry, but I cried yesterday.
Because it's not just autopsy photos. It's a little boy who had blunt force trauma, who had a gunshot wound, who had 18 stab wounds, whose body was hidden in one location, frozen, then drug across the country and thrown over a bridge like a piece of garbage by the most evil woman I've ever witnessed.
I have a question. Did you guys go over what's your guys thought that she went over like the ring camera and she was like pointing out like, oh, can you hear the scream of the child?
I just said a minute ago we're gonna go over that in a second.
I didn't even know until yesterday that she did that bullshit. I don't even understand, bro. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear you say that. That's why.
No. Yeah. Someone mentioned it. I think it was SV, and I said, yeah, we're gonna go over that because I haven't heard it, but I saw it when I was scrolling. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go over that. I don't know what she did on there, but I heard some things, so we'll see. I think she's almost done explaining herself.
Go talk to all the other people that sit there and that tell people, go join my Patreon. I have trouble doing that because I'm opposite of that. But for this, I had to because I'm not going to put it on YouTube. I had to do it that way. So thank you, Tessie. Like, I'm the least creator. Like, it's hard for me to even say join my Patreon. It's hard because I'm not like that. And anybody that knows me personally, like, it's so hard for me to ever ask for anything. So you know absolutely zero about me. But you should, because if you see my channel, where do you ever see me asking? A couple years ago, I tried to, and I got crap. But then I'm thinking, all the other creators, this is my job, and I spend hours on it, but I can't because one time I do it, a few times I do, I get attacked that I'm all for the money. And you have creators that do it for all of their freaking videos. Join my Patreon, help me pay for this. Help me. I did it one time a couple years ago and got attacked, and I did it now because I'm not going to do it public, and I get attacked. It's just bullcrap because I'm not a creator that asks for money. But I know you're doing this on purpose to upset me.
Oh, way to gaslight.
You upset me.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to comment. You know, if someone's questioning you on your motives on something, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gaslighting you. Or
she's just bullhorn Betty the hell out of that stream right now. Like, you're just here to upset me. You're just trolls. Ah!
No, like no one cares about if you have a Patreon. If you're upfront and you say, okay, I have a Patreon and I'm using this, to support me and we're going to do this, no one has a problem with that. People have a problem with the fact that you decided to put pictures of a deceased child's corpse and basically, put a $3 paywall for it and disregard this kid's dignity in every single aspect. That's what they have a problem with. They don't have a problem with your Patreon. Her arguments are flawed.
Her argument, I mean, that's an understatement. Absolutely. Her argument is garbage. It's beyond flawed. It's just garbage. She's not saying anything that coincides with her actions at all. She's like Deets said, she's just making excuses. She's not giving any actual reasons for what she's doing. She's just making excuses. And her biggest go-to excuse is, well, why aren't you yelling at them? You're only here attacking me. Why aren't you yelling at this person and that person, that person? She doesn't even have any valid argument there when she's trying to throw people under the bus with her. You know what I mean?
She feels attacked because, she's doing a live stream about something else and a bunch of people come in and questioning on her. Like, yeah, I'd probably get a little defensive too, but the reasoning that she's giving is, well, the excuses that she's giving are not reasons. They're not valid reasons. She's just giving excuses instead of something
And I wasn't criticizing you, B Tim. I was
No,
just,
no.
I was just emphasizing.
No, you're not criticizing. I know that. Obviously,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying I try to be a little bit more cautious with my words, especially lately.
Right.
You're
But
fine.
yeah,
And I just want to tell Nessie B, thank you. You can. I'm trying to go through the whole chat, so you do not have to super chat me. If you want, just tag me. I'll see it better. But it says, is there any way families can get together to pass a law to stop these monsters, at least for minor victims? I don't know why that the Stocks didn't petition to have it sealed. I would have definitely done that. Maybe they weren't aware that they could, or something along those
they probably weren't presented with the option. It's probably one of the last things they were thinking about.
Maybe they can go in now, but it's too late. Once it's already out, it's out. You can't put the toothpaste back in.
That's it.
Unfortunately, it's out there. This is horrible.
I mean, yeah, and her argument. I mean, like, and you're saying, well, she was flustered. Well, I mean, no offense, but she probably should have had the arguments laid out in her mind
she should have had it
already. Yeah, like she should have had an idea of an argument to counter their arguments about why putting it up, because it's
she
like
had to have known, right, that people are going to question this and call you out on it. This isn't something if you don't see all other creators in your genre sharing these things out and discussing this and going over the autopsy photos in great detail like you did, you have to people are going to come in and question you on it for sure.
Read the room. It doesn't make you innovative. Read the room. It means that people aren't doing it because they're not shitbags.
Yeah,
that's why.
But I mean, like the whole idea of like, I lost my throat. Never mind. I was about to say something, but I lost.
I hate it when I was doing that all day yesterday. I'm losing my train of thought. All right, let's
just maybe you should see who you're supporting and what they really are doing compared to what I'm doing.
What are you?
There was a purpose to do it on Patreon, so I didn't do it public. If I wouldn't have done it on Patreon and did it free, I would have got, oh my God, you're doing it for all these people. Like, I can't win, guys. I try to do it private, and I'm getting attacked for doing it for money. And if I didn't, I would get attacked for showing everybody.
This is the most exciting she's ever been.
Thank you, Lori.
I know, right?
I never review her because she's too boring. I can't make her funny. She just sits there.
Because I know how hard it is for me. I know how hard it was for me to even ask people to join my Patreon for a specific reason, and I get attacked for that. It's just, wow.
You know, I just thought about something really fucked up.
Thank you, Jesse.
What?
And if you want to pause it, and I might get shit for this. Is this like shock value to advertise her Patreon? Like, this is my theory. This is like you can yell at me, but is this like, like an easy, like a way you can advertise your Patreon by doing something shocking like this? And now everyone's talking about the Patreon now.
Well, she made the Dropbox the name of her channel and her Patreon. So yes, sir, I think so.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know her well enough to know if it is a plea for people to join her Patreon or a money, that sort of things. I don't know her that way.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is like great. I mean, like, any publicity is good publicity, and if everyone's talking about now your Patreon, where you barely like ask anyone to join or anything, suddenly everyone's going to know about your Patreon without you actually having to advertise it, and and people are saying, oh, this will destroy our channel. No, people in 2 months from now will forget completely about this. But, and she'll get an influx of money and she'll get new subscribers, and everyone who would thought about this would just forget about it. And that's pretty much it. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, what were we talking about yesterday, Chasing? Do you remember how some creators, when you find what you're doing and you get that niche and you have to keep going bigger and bigger and more to keep driving in those views, driving in those people. We were relating it to drama and crama, but it absolutely relates here too. When you are sharing this type of content, you're going to do the next thing's going to be a little more shocking to get people in, and the next thing's going to be a little bit more. But
well, she had a huge influx.
Murdered 11-year-old
Kylie.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She had a huge influx with Kylie. And so you got to keep that content and all that going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I got to just doing the shit.
I'm just not in a good mood. But I'll be back. You're not holding me down too long. I'm just going to go on my trip and get
And isn't it
refreshed.
sad? I'm sorry, but isn't
No,
it
you're
sad?
fine.
Isn't it sad? I see Running Bear. She, you know, they're putting up hashtag Justice for Gannon, and where my first thought is, what do you mean? There's already been justice for Gannon.
Yeah.
But now it takes on a different meaning, because now there's justice for Gannon for being exploited. And that shouldn't even have to happen. We should just put this to rest. Now Letitia is in jail. She's under the jail. She's never getting out. And that should be it. That should be left at that. And now the hashtag Justice for Gannon has to take this whole new meaning, because he's a victim of exploitation at this point. And it sucks.
He's been, this poor little guy, he's went through all that, his murder, just horrific, gruesome murder, and all the things that Letitia did afterwards. And if you followed the trial, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Horrible stuff. And now you think, oh, he got justice. We got the justice. But no, now he's continually being exploited.
Right.
That's because people don't care about justice. If it was about justice, then the Watts case would have ended with his conviction.
Oh my God.
If it was about justice, then we wouldn't still be talking about Scott Peterson and everything else. It's not about justice. It's about looky-loos and popularity and who can take it the next. It's just it's disgusting.
It is.
Yeah, this is an example of yet another YouTuber gives other true crime YouTubers a bad name. And they look at us all like trash because of creators like this. You know, I mean, any parent out there, you know, and we're talking about just not just the people in this chat alone. I mean, there's any parent out there that's familiar with this case, and is making themselves familiar with what's going on right now. They're looking at this like fucking true crime people, man. Look at how morbid they are, you know. And it's sad, because there are those of us who actually want to help educate and try to understand things a little bit better for ourselves, for our listeners. You know, there are those of us who want that, but when you have creators with such a large platform whose behavior is contradictory to those of us who actually have scruples, it gives us all a bad name, you know, and it sucks. And I just, when there's people out there that are really actually trying to educate, they're not even going to give it a chance, because they're just going to lump us up with people like this, just YouTubers who are out to make a quick buck, you know, and at any cost, by any means necessary. And it's really gross, man. It's really disgusting. And that's what I mean by gross. That's what we all mean by gross, Av Girl, not the autopsy photos. People doing what you're doing. That's gross. That's what they mean by gross.
No, you're right. I think I'm just a little shell-shocked here when I was seeing all the tags throughout the various community posts and then the emails I got, and I just went and watched the first part of this timestamp, and I was like, okay, maybe she did truly just go through this and added some educational value to that, but learning, that's not what it is. It's a lot more. It's a lot worse than I initially thought, and she has to know this is wrong. She has to.
I'm gonna be the asshole. I think it's for her Patreon. I'm gonna be the asshole that says it. I think this is a great way that she's advertising her Patreon. Now everyone's talking about the Patreon, and there's some people who are morbid that will actually sign up and watch. She'll get an influx of people, and people will be outraged for maybe a week max, maybe 2 weeks, and then basically, she'll get new people, and now everyone heard about her Patreon, and she doesn't even have to advertise her Patreon anymore. That's what I think. I could be the asshole.
Sound theory, because I mean, she's either Forrest Gumping that shit, and not like realizing that she's doing it and just becoming super successful as a YouTuber and just doing it, and what she happens to be doing is what's making her successful. Like, maybe, but or she's very calculated in what she's doing in the way that B. Tim is describing.
Yeah. And that's an opinion. Don't sue me. That's an opinion. That's my opinion.
She definitely benefits either way. Either way, it's just a question of whether she is just, like I said, Forrest Gumping the shit and just kind of doing whatever she does, and then
I think it's like, you know, I'm gonna bring a little bit of it's just like Bush, where everyone thought he was an idiot, but not realizing this guy was like a Harvard graduate, and it was actually a lot smarter than people thought. But people are a lot more forgiving of people who like act dumb than people who are calculative. Like everyone was like angry at Dick Cheney, and they're like, oh, he's like the dark Sith, he's calculative. And Bush, they gave him like a pass because they thought he was an idiot. But the truth of the matter is, he knew what he was doing. He just pretended to be dumb at times. And that's what happens. When you pretend to be dumb, people give you a lot more leeway.
Right.
You know, just like that Abe guy. He was like, oh, she's just so, you know, she's just fool, like dumb. You know, she's not aware. She doesn't understand. And a lot of people who normally would hold your feet to the fire, when you pretend to be dumb, people give you a lot more leeway. They're a lot more nicer to you. It's just how it is. And I think she's a lot smart. I mean, didn't she say she graduated as like a psychology,
I agree with you. I think
I don't know what she graduated.
Yeah, I think she said she went to college for psychology or something like that. So if she understands, if she went to college, at the very least, I know she went to college, but I believe she studied psychology, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, but C's and D's also get degrees.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you went to college, I mean, maybe, and if you study psychology, maybe you'd have an understanding of how people think a little bit. And and be calculative or something like that. I don't know. Or she went to college, but
it's basic economics. I mean, it's crazy to think that this person does not have enough sense to look at her numbers and see that they increased after she did certain things, and then not want to repeat those certain things in order to gain more income. She knows what she's making money off of. She knows how she's making her money. She knows what there's a supply and demand for based on the results of her content and what it's generated. She knows. So
you will tell her studio.
True, good point, Sarah. Yeah, you could say David. I guess college is a low. You know, anyone can graduate, but you got a point there. You got a point.
In underwater basket weaving. Yeah, Jenny, I agree. That's my biggest concern right now, is that some weirdo out there has got his.
And someone pointed out, didn't she say she's going on vacation? So I mean, it's kind of good timing that you do this. You let like everything kind of blow up while you're on vacation, kind of, and then you come back, and then you just, after like the fires kind of die down, and you do a little bit of a cleanup, and you say, well, I didn't realize, like, she'll probably already has her idea of her apology made up. I didn't really think about it, guys. I think of everything when it comes like, true crime and, and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really think about it emotionally. And she's probably got the apology already got made, and she'll probably do it in like a couple of days or a week. And then boom, she's lost some people, but she's advertised her Patreon, and she's growing, and then she gets new people that will completely never hear about this, and everything's great.
So, K Smalls, in the FOIA request that Kate shared with us earlier, the statement was, if you are a third party requesting a specific individual, that individual is required to authorize the release. Well, Deanna can't authorize it. One, he was a minor, and two, he's deceased. So I'm guessing since the court owns the material, that's who had to authorize the release of it.
I think so.
Well, wouldn't the parents have rights over the child even still?
I don't know, because the court owns it, right?
Court records. Yeah, you just FOIA. She got like a whole packet from the trial, and that's what was in it. Remember the stuff we were going over?
They could fight to try to have it sealed if they wanted to.
Yeah, I was saying, I hope that they do go back and have it sealed now, although it's already out there, and you can't undo what's been done. But and like somebody mentioned earlier, Nessie is what it was. Is there something people can get a law put into place about minors' autopsy photos specifically? I do agree there should be something like that out there, but I'm guessing the individual mentioned in this would be the court, because they own the rights to it. Or I don't know if it's the prosecutor, defense, whoever owns it. Unless if it's not them, it would be his next of kin, his parents, right?
It's public. It's just public knowledge now. At this point, it was a public trial. It's public record. They could try to seal it, but I've never heard of like court records. I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's been cases where they've had autopsy photos sealed.
Autopsy sealed, yeah. Or just not shown at all, or just shown to the jury specifically.
It wouldn't matter now. I mean, it's out there.
Right. It's too late. It's out of the.
No, for Gannon, unfortunately, it's too late. But moving forward to protect another minor child from being exploited after death, after a horrific murder.
Yep. What Yep is saying, there's a documentary about a family whose daughter's accident photos leaked online and destroyed their lives. It's an excellent watch, although heartbreaking. What's the name of the documentary? I'd like to know.
Yeah, because that'd be really interesting to read and understand.
Right.
Hi.
Welcome back, Grandma Sherry and Ellie, by the way. Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, so we're talking about how horrific this is. You've heard of the saying, all publicity is good publicity?
Publicity is publicity that'll get you attention. I don't know if it's necessary.
I see what you're getting at here, but go on.
Okay. So we have right now almost 600 people in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And we have a limited number of people who actually comment, but there are people out there in the bushes lurking. And I'm kind of wondering, just by covering this with our moral outrage and whatnot, how many people have actually gone to her Patreon,
right,
to look up this stuff?
Yep. When you bring attention to things,
It's
they get
very
bigger.
possible.
It's getting bigger.
Therein lies the question that I knew was coming. So
Well,
are we wrong for addressing it?
Mm.
And that's a razor's edge is what that is.
Right. We've discussed that many times when it comes to exposing what some of these bad actors on YouTube do. Are we wrong for even drawing attention to some of the things they do in the process of exposing it? So
the answer is no, we're not wrong. And two, I'm telling anyone, do not buy into the Patreon to see these horrible images. It's disgusting. I'm not looking at them, and that's your answer. And because basically say, oh, are you wrong for covering the news? That when it's bad news, no, you're not, because that's what the news people do. If you just because they're still going to do it, even if you don't talk about it. And actually, they'll do more. They'll get more and more bold if you don't cover it, because that's how it works. Because what is it like? Mushrooms grow in darkness and shit. So same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Claire. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I agree with B. Tim. The answer is no, it's not wrong. And the reason why I say it's not wrong is because it separates us. It separates the scrupulous creators from the non-scrupulous creators, from the unscrupulous creators. And B, it exposes these creators for the type of people as examples of what not to do. So what I like to think I try to do, at least me personally, by exposing creators like this, what I'm trying to do is show people that you can have a higher standard for your content. You don't have to you could still be educated. You could still learn about true crime. You could still learn about these cases in depth without being disrespectful to the victims or their families. There's many ways to do it. This is just low-hanging fruit. This is just a quick way to shock. This is a quick way to get more viewership through shock. And you could dress it up all you want and say it's for science, but what I like to think is at least personally, my audience would, at least by this point, know the difference between what somebody's saying and what somebody's doing. And what I try to do, at least me, I can't speak for Deets. I know this is her channel, but I try to educate people as far as it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to see autopsy photos. And if you are looking at these autopsy photos, understand why you're looking at these autopsy photos. Look at yourself as to what reasons you're looking into these autopsy photos. Now, if it is for educational purpose, let's say you want to be a coroner one day, and you're in, you're in school to be a coroner. That is perfectly legitimate and it's perfectly understandable. But if you can't come up with a logical reason why some good is coming out of it, other than your own curiosity being quenched, then you're not doing anybody any good.
Yes.
Somebody's right though to be able to like do whatever they want to do, and I personally don't want to see these photos ever. But like people, if it was available in the trial, then it should be. Then it's out there. I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
I get the emotional reaction everybody's having. I totally understand that. I see both sides of this though.
That's where I was this morning, Ellie. You heard me when I first started this live. Like, I'm conflicted, but hearing what she shared and how she shared it, that's different than making it an educational moment.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's why I asked this question, because I wanted this conversation. I wanted all this to be brought up, that there's going to be people out there who really support tragedy pimping and just go even harder after they hear, a live here or live on Queen Bee or headstones and headlines, whatever, on the Glare. But there's also people that are conflicted, like we are.
Yeah.
People that understand that, yes, there's free speech in the United States, what is actually obscene. And I love these conversations because it actually delineates that and clarifies it a bit for people.
And I'm not trying to dictate. Somebody here said that I'm trying to dictate what people see or don't see. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is get you to ask yourself why you would want to see those photos.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Because you can go back and listen. You can go, there's 2 creators up here who stream this trial. You can go back to either one of their streams and hear exactly what was shared in the trial. Tracy even said you can see what was shared in the trial there from a professional. I'm sure there are so many clips out there of just that portion, if that's what you want to go learn from. This doesn't sound like a learning moment.
No, it doesn't, but it's just a way to whitewash something that is just absolutely obscene and morbid. And, call it whatever you want. You can call a pile of shit something else, but it's still a pile of shit.
Yeah. Looking at it. But I think Zav sees it as an educational, process for her and for the people that she wanted to do it with. That's the only thing. I don't think it's getting bigger than it was before when it was private. And I think the only reason she put it behind any paywall was just to keep it private, but now everybody's going there, and now it's on Reddit, you said, and so now it's out there.
Great advertisement for our Patreon, I must say.
I don't think she's advertising for her Patreon.
I have my opinion.
I don't think she's
and that's fair. That's your opinion. That's Ellie's, and I love that about in here. Everyone's pretty respectful of each other's opinions. And that's why I asked the question, because I don't watch her content constantly, so I don't know if she's constantly pimping out her Patreon or not.
I wouldn't say it was advertisement. That's my opinion. I wouldn't say that. I would say that certain aspects of what she was showing could be used educationally, but there were also certain aspects that weren't for educational purposes, like zooming in on certain things. And
okay, let me ask you a question. If you don't, why did she spend about 3-4 minutes talking about how she originally advertised her Patreon, but she got so much shit, but now she's doing it secretly, and then you know what I mean? Her main thought process is her Patreon. That's the thing. It's like someone tells you what they're thinking when they're saying things out of their mouth.
Right.
I mean, her main thought is her Patreon. That's why I'm thinking it's is this an advertisement? Because if you're actually defending the position of the actual material itself, you would say, listen, guys, I put it out there because of what X, Y, and Z. I can't get in the minds of why someone would do that, but someone would put some sort of but this lady talked about her Patreon for 4 minutes and how she used to get shit when she talked about it.
Right.
So that's
use your eyes. Like I mean, you got to use your eyes as well as your ears. Listen to what she's saying, but also look at her actions. And are they in concert with each other? They're clearly not.
Well,
Clearly not.
if you step back into the mindset of what she's presenting to us, is that, you know, she's curious. She knew that YouTube is not the place to do this, even
Well,
on
she could have done it on
only.
Discord if she wanted to. If she wanted to only show it to her deepest fans, she could open up a Discord and says, "Here's the files on Discord. We'll talk about it here." But yet she put it behind a paywall on Patreon.
Right. And to her mind, that is being respectful, because not everybody's going to join her Patreon, and that is as private as she can get it. I mean, her Patreon, I don't know how long she's had it, but she only had 10 posts.
Discord could be private too.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You can make a group where you only allow certain people into your server.
Well, we could talk all day about what's in her mind and what's not in her mind. Hitler thought he was saving the world. Does that make it okay?
Did you have to bring that up?
Oh, here comes Hitler.
Complete chaos. I used to like you, Deets, but this is disgusting. A creator is allowed to put whatever they want in their Patreon, and this is none of your damn business. How dare you think you're entitled? I am not entitled. Do you hear me telling her, you know, what she can and cannot do? But I'm absolutely allowed to share my opinion.
Say it's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
And
It's gross.
my feelings towards how this might feel towards the family and other people who stumble across it. You know, there are people, these are going to now be spread out and shared.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure Deets does not. I'm sure Deets does not agree with me. I'm being the asshole, bringing the whole thing about with the whole advertisement. So if you're gonna blame someone for being like the asshole in the group, do it to me, not Deets.
I don't think I'm entitled to anything, but I absolutely have the same right to comment on it as she does to share it in her Patreon.
And I won't let somebody make false accusations up here. Nobody here is telling anybody what they can or cannot do with their channel. That's not what's happening here. What we are doing is assessing our opinions as to what her nature is, as to why she's sharing these things. That's what we're discussing. We're questioning her intentions by sharing the things. We're not saying don't do it or do it.
Well, okay, even K-Smalls, even if she did ask on the FOIA documentation, it specifically has language that says this information is not to be disseminated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was disseminated.
Yeah. And listen,
I'm the dumb guy here. What is disseminated?
No, you're not. No, you're not. Listen, I think
Spread out.
It means to be spread out.
Okay.
Passed out.
It's exactly what she did then.
Yeah, like put out.
Yeah, you should have known that word. Let me just Google that. Disseminated.
People in the chat are saying that me and Ellie are trying to excuse that. That's not what we're doing. We're being objective, and we're saying, listen, she's in this true crime world. She's very interested in it. We've all seen how crazy she gets about these cases. If the curiosity or her wanting to see it to match things up, say with the clothing, with the knife marks, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see how she would want to connect those dots. Would I do it? No. Do I think she should have done it? No. But I can objectively say I can see why she would want to connect those dots.
Exactly. And I wasn't saying, let's get into her mind and see what's happening. That's exactly what I was saying, is that, in an objective manner, she's looking at this, and whoever else has joined Patreon to see these things, and now on Reddit. But, and yes, it's morbid curiosity. Like that girl brought up the Faces of Death movie, which was supposedly a forensic pathologist, a coroner who did all those horrible things. And that brought up all kinds of stuff. It was actually prosecuted in the United Kingdom for being obscene.
Right.
And here in the United States, the definition of obscenity, as far as something that's gross or gratuitous, is a very thin line. And I think that's what we need to understand as well, because what we're looking at this, and we're looking at a moral dilemma or something that we find repulsive. But on the whole, as far as is it legal? Because I've seen some people say, she should be sued. On what grounds?
Right.
Somebody wants her to get into trouble for doing something that's
legal.
Right. It might be legal. I don't think disseminating it from the FOIA is legal.
Cody just said you can't disseminate it in its original form, but if she kind of transformed it, then
Changed it,
that's
yeah.
legal.
Fair use, basically. She fair used it.
Right. And she's presenting it as being educational or documentary or scientific. And so that's why it might skirt around Patreon's terms of service.
Yeah.
So just keep these things in mind, that it's not just a be all end all. We're not the moral police of anywhere. Everybody on here should be over 18. Everybody on Patreon, you have an option of selecting, you have to be over 18. Of course, kids lie and say yes and make up a birth date. But the thing is that we're adults, and what we're trying to do here is open a conversation that is encouraging you to think about your motives, to think about, your values.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree with Menace's comment, Deets. Can you highlight that?
Yeah.
That's the way I'm
still
looking at it.
4 minutes behind, but I'm trying to. And yeah, Tattoo Birdie, I totally did, trying to see both sides of it. And like I said, I haven't went in and watched it yet. I do have the link, but the way it has been described, it's not, there's no educational value added to it. And that's where I'm completely struggling. Like, what was the purpose if there's no educational value added to it?
Right.
And that's just morbid fascination.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people on the dark web that go really deep into that.
Yeah, all we're saying is, if you're clicking on those photographs or you're clicking on her video, like, don't sit here and act like you're doing this for educational purpose when there's no education to be had.
Right.
There's nothing to be gained educationally from it.
I can tell you, I've seen a few spots of it, and what I did gain from it was I was able to see where, like, you know, in court they showed the body diagram, like the outline of the male body, and it shows the spots where she struck him. And I can say that it did help me put together the,
like a how?
Kinda, yeah, because, like, I don't know, it did help me put together, like, where those spots were a little better. And it, no matter how disgusting it was, it did help me see that. But outside of that, I would say there's no educational purposes. None. It's all just curiosity, like Grandma shared.
I know we've been in here for 2 hours now, but yeah, last breadstick, that's something we said a while back, that, if she would have had, a professional or someone with her walking through it. But even then,
didn't she match it up with the coroner on like the stand?
Yeah,
she said,
yeah. And I'm in the, used to be in the medical field. It just helps me. You know what I'm saying? It connects
some
dots
people it
for
helps.
me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a data point. I don't think she's looking at it as some people are emotionally as like an 11-year-old, which you have to as well, but she's detaching herself from it, which
Sunset
she does very
gazing.
well.
I need to make this clear. The private parts were not visible.
Oh, they were blurred out.
Good.
They were blurred out.
Oh.
At the trial or on this video in question?
On this video. They're blurred out.
Okay.
I thought Queen and that girl said they weren't blurred out.
I think they thought, well, maybe because that girl said there was like different angles, but when I looked from every angle, I didn't see anything. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm blind though, because my eyes don't work great either. So I don't know. But the main photo I seen, it was blurred.
I'm trying to find more curiosity.
I can understand what you're saying, Johnson, about being in the medical field and this is clinical, but honestly, I was in death care, not like that girl. I I was aftercare. Okay, so I just dealt with the families and their emotions and counseling them through that.
Mhm.
But I just don't see how any of this can bring about something good, something that is beneficial to society or the viewers at large.
No, not at large. It wouldn't.
I haven't seen the video. I don't know what Zav's comments are on it.
I didn't listen.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, most people don't.
Sorry. Yeah. So Queen had put a private link in the back, and I hadn't gone over there yet. So I just did really quickly. Oh my God, y'all.
See, too many people are seeing
I got
it now.
through
I feel
about 60 seconds of it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Is it blurred out?
Worse. It is worse than you can ever possibly imagine.
It is. But see, for people like who are in the medical field or who deal with death or have dealt with death, it's not quite as harmful to their psyche. Like chasing is hurting right now because of what she's
He
seen.
is a baby in a suitcase, and she's zooming in, and he is decomposed.
Oh,
God. I told y'all she zooms in.
It reminds me of
His
Kylie
little
Rodney.
Minecraft shirt, his Minecraft shirt is sitting there.
Oh God.
And she is zoomed in on that, circling things. Then she shows his body on the table. Zooms in on every organ. It's
Pause for a second. What is she?
Oh, Queen says it's not blurred.
Hang on.
No, nothing's blurred. Nothing.
Really? I seen
nothing's blurred.
Get glasses, Jones, and you need
it
glasses.
looked like a blurred spot over his private areas on one of the pictures. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it was your brain just blurring it for your own
maybe.
protection.
What is she describing? Like, how is she describing it as she's going through and zooming in on
ridiculously saying, well, maybe he was stabbed here in the back of the neck, and then it went through layers of a hood, and maybe that's what that was. And it looks like she shot him here. Let me see how they describe that. Oh, this is a casing from a pillow, I guess. It's ridiculous. It's awful.
It's
awful.
Chasing, I'm so sorry, honey.
So they're not okay.
I just wanted to know for myself too.
Right.
I don't want to be criticizing her without.
Yes, and this is traumatizing. This is even traumatizing to the chat, thinking about things like this. And if you need to click out, please do. You can watch replay and fast forward or whatever. But
all right, kick Grandma Sherry out immediately. She's telling people not to watch.
Please,
damn it!
I'm joking. Please do leave if hearing any of this is going to affect your mental.
I actually have to go just because I have to get on with my day, but I appreciate you having me up here, Deets.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your opinion.
Nice talking to you guys all on panel.
Bye, Claire.
Will, all bragging about having a life and shit.
No.
Not really. The truth is I have to go to the gym, and if I will use this as an excuse to not go, so I have to go. So
gotcha.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Have a good day.
That's the only thing that I screenshotted, Deets, because that's what made me cry. That's what made me start to get beside myself. I couldn't. I kept the phone on sideways.
Guys, it's not anything of him or anything like that. It's just
no. It's the same shirt my son has. Same exact shirt my son has.
I'm so sorry. Grandma hug. Grandma hugs for everybody. I'm so sorry.
It was so shocking. Why did the pictures under the bridge of him in the suitcase? That was the worst.
I'll get the door.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Oh, I didn't even see that people had.
Hippie.
No, but I'm saying sorry because I didn't see people were in the back.
Can I say this to Hippie? Hippie, I will gladly take your wrench, baby, because I don't run an echo chamber. So if you need to trip out because I don't have the same opinion as you, boo, do your thing. I will gladly take your wrench because I don't need that kind of support.
No,
I didn't hear what Jonathan's opinions were on it. She's
my opinions were that there could be certain aspects of it that could be educational, but I didn't listen to it. What I seen was her circling like the stab wounds. That's what I seen, but I had it on, like we didn't have the volume up. So I was like, there's certain things that are on there that can help you connect the dots, that can help you see things. To like what could cause that much splatter, which part, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but they went over all that in the trial, Joneson.
Hang on one second. Hippie, you're absolutely entitled.
I didn't watch all the trial.
Please don't do like the whole caps lock in the chat thing. But you can say what you want to say, just like Joneson can say what she wants to say back. But yeah, just be respectful. That's my thing. Just be kind and respectful to each other in here.
I mean, I watched the trial in depth.
Mm-hmm.
You did watch it, the whole thing?
Oh yeah,
she did live.
Yeah,
and everything.
Yeah.
I streamed the entire trial. I've been on this since the very first day that he went missing.
Yeah.
Read every detail of every single thing because my son reminds me so much of Gannon.
And see, so you already had it pictured in your mind how everything happened then.
Of course. They went over the autopsy photos in the trial.
Yeah, see, I didn't watch it like that. I wasn't.
And the doctors explained it. The coroners explained it. The lawyers explained it.
But did Zav girl?
And they didn't zoom in like that. They didn't do
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a it shouldn't be out there, period.
Tracy,
it shouldn't be out there.
No.
Tracy, did Zav girl explain it? I mean, that's the most important person that should explain everything. Don't you know that?
No.
No, she was.
You sure?
Like I said, I didn't listen to it, but I did see her zooming in on stuff.
It just him under that bridge, coming out of the thing, coming out of the coming out when they took him out of the suitcase. I mean, his face is decomposing.
Yeah.
And she's zooming in on that and then putting up pictures of him to compare his teeth. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It makes no sense. That was not educational at all. It was horrible. Oh, I can't. I don't know.
I wouldn't even look at them. I think it's too much.
Yeah, I didn't look at them.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at them. I have enough terrible images in my head from my work. So
if it was my child, I'd be. This is insane. I can't imagine what they're feeling right now, because they've been emailed.
Do you think
I don't want to unfairly attack this chick, because I don't know. I didn't want to be like, well, of course autopsy photos are bad, so this is just sick. I wanted to understand, what is she doing? Because she's justifying it and saying it's for science and it's for this. And okay, so what are you doing?
If it was an adult, would it change things for you guys? If it was an adult and not an 11-year-old, would that make a difference?
A little, yeah. For me, it would.
Maybe a little bit.
No, I would probably not watch it because honestly, that person deserves a little bit of respect. Not to be flaunted around the internet like that. You know what I mean? Like the person's dead, they died horribly. They don't need to be having people watch them like some sort of sideshow. How about you just let the person rest? I mean, really.
When I did a deep dive on Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias, those photos are all out there,
I guess I saw those. Yeah.
It didn't bother me like seeing these did.
Interesting.
And this was an innocent little baby. I mean, I know he was 11, but
he was still a baby.
He's a baby. And murdered by somebody he trusted.
Okay.
And that trial was completely brutal. The trial itself was brutal. Listening to her lie, listening to his father, knowing how his mother Landon felt. all of that was really, really hard to hear. And they put autopsy photos up in a clinical, legal, understanding this is what it needs to be manner. Not
Right.
this.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to understand is that we're already emotionally invested in Gannon because we knew when he was reported missing, and some of us followed throughout, and then like Letitia was arrested, and then we watched the trial. Honestly, I couldn't watch all of it because it just tore my heart out. And now we have this coming up to somebody that we've embraced, somebody that has touched our heart. And somebody said, if it was an adult, would it be different? If it was somebody that we got attached to, like Kylie Rodney, yes. If it was Gabby Petito, yes. If it was just some donated corpse to the medical center, then probably not. But then again, where's the curiosity?
So it's the emotional part.
Where's the interest in something just for science versus something that's sensational or exploitative?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna skedaddle, but just thank you for letting me on. Sorry about Jason, you're going through this. I hear you kind of.
Oh no.
I'm sorry about that.
My heart broke for him.
Yeah.
To see him that way, it just was just shocking.
And now it's forever.
Obviously, we understand that he is gone, and what was done to him was horrible. But to know that to know that YouTubers, because this is not the best place in the world. Let's just be fucking honest here, okay?
Yeah.
And there are just people who suck. And God knows what they're going to do. They'll just download it and upload it and reshare it and do all horrible stuff. It's just off. We don't.
Yeah. But I hope you feel, you feel a little better.
Yeah.
Sorry that you're going, and sorry for everyone going through it. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Dad, it's okay. It's all right.
So I hopped up here just real quick. I'm not going to stay, but I do have really strong emotions regarding this as well. But part of it is because Deets, as you know, and Tracy, as you know, on my channel, which is very small, I do tell the stories of children who are victims of child abuse, the ones who have lost their voices. They don't have parents speaking out for them and telling their story, which is why I do. And part of it is because of my background and my profession. And even just telling their stories is hard. Watching Gannon's trial was hard. But I almost feel like, and I know he's gone, and I know, that's just a shell, but that's representative of Gannon. And it feels like he's being brutalized all over again. And he's being exploited. This is not right. If you want to learn, and this is my opinion, it's my opinion, and I understand everyone has their own, and whatever your opinion is, that's fine, but this is mine. I feel like if you want to use something for science and you want to learn, there are avenues that you can take to get that knowledge. There are plenty of places. And like I had commented earlier from the chat, when you are in a class, anatomy class that you take in college, biology classes, things like that, and they bring in cadavers, they're not identified. You almost have to remove the humanity from it, or you wouldn't be able to do it. Or if you would be able to do it, you're sick, because then that means like, I don't understand. Like, a medical examiner is not going to do an autopsy on their family member. There's a certain.
Well, there's a clinical distance that you have to have and things like that.
Exactly.
Whereas instead of his face, it's the maxillofacial, that sort of thing. I mean, I started to study to be a mortician until I got into the labs part. And when I got in there, all I saw was a person. I couldn't go clinical no matter how many times I tried to do it. I could not go clinical. And so that's, I think, what you're saying here is that.
And you're making a willing choice, a knowledge, an informed choice to go into the medical field because you're passionate about that.
Right.
It's very different.
Exactly. And people in the medical field, like I have a lot of family members in the medical field, and we've had this conversation. Like, you know, like my brother-in-law is a director of nurses, but he worked in the ER for a while. And one of the reasons that he had to stop is because there was a child who came in that didn't make it from choking on a balloon. And he worked on that baby until they had to pull him off because he just couldn't handle it. And so, you know, I don't know. This to
This
me
was exploitative. Or
very,
exploitive.
very.
Yeah.
It's like entertainment almost.
I
And
agree.
that you don't do that with a child. You
Well,
don't. And
I don't think you do that with anyone.
I
Whether
agree.
it's a child,
I agree.
To exploit something for financial gain is just
Absolutely.
wrong.
I agree.
And please, everybody, please realize that you need to do some self-care because this is traumatizing. You don't have to watch that video. You don't have to have watched the trial. Just hearing these details are traumatizing. And please, please understand that.
So I just watched, obviously I didn't watch the whole thing. It's an hour or so long, apparently. But,
oh, wow. Yeah, so I didn't watch the whole thing either then.
I don't know. Queen said it was quite a while. She just took me through a few different clips of it. You're both right. There's some parts that are blurred and some parts that aren't.
Okay.
There is a full, like, downward shot where, yes, that section's blurred, but from a different angle, it's not blurred. But that doesn't matter. It's the whole context of the way she is commentating over this video that is completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Yeah. See, I didn't hear her talking, thank God. Apparently that's what made it even worse.
It does, but it's also a very
I must express
they need this.
the blurred
they need these pictures. The coroner needs these things. They need them for trial. It's very detailed, very graphic, but it's, in my opinion, in Deets' opinion, in Stephanie's opinion, I'm gonna put that out there. In Stephanie's opinion, this is fucking wrong. This should never be out there where his little sister could get a hold of it. This is wrong, y'all. And I'm telling you, I was on the fence beforehand, but when
it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
The things that she was saying, and I only listened to 4 minutes, the things that she was saying, the context in which she was saying them.
Is she completely desensitized, Deets?
Oh, we know this is Gannon. She knows this is Gannon. It's a freaking, she FOIA requested it, so she knows that it's Gannon, and she spends time going over seeing his teeth right after he fell out of the suitcase.
Oh my God.
Photos. This is wrong. It's not educational. This is just my opinion. And the visuals that are shown, please take my word for it. Do not go click that link.
So see, that explains
something you want to see.
That explains a little bit in the sense of me, because I didn't listen to it, and I also didn't watch the whole thing as she played it out. You know what I'm saying? I caught snippets.
And I could see that if you're only seeing, like, parts of it, but
the snippets were bad enough.
Yeah,
let's just keep it real. So
11-year-old baby who was brutally murdered on full display, and
it's not okay.
The commentary over it's not okay.
That girl, I'm sure you did get a DM.
It's not okay.
I said on one of the pictures I seen, the regions were blurred.
There is one where it's blurred. I just saw it. That girl. There is at least one of the shots I saw was blurred and one wasn't. So it's a mixture of both. Some are blurred and some aren't. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's angles where it's not, and
that's what I said. That girl said that there were different angles. So maybe I didn't see those specific angles, but the one angle I seen, which I think was probably part of the court documents that they showed in court that the TV caught, the cameras caught, I think that's the one that's blurred.
Yeah, it's like a downward shot.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that one's blurred, but there's other parts that aren't, and it's I don't need to go through again what this little guy went through.
No.
No, and
it's just so much.
If someone wanted to, for educational purposes, there was an entire trial where they were shown with the experts, telling you about it. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but I get that there are people that are, interested and feel like they need to learn more. And like she said, she wants every little detail. Well, there was a trial that gave you all the details you needed to know. So this disgusts me. It breaks my heart. There's so many kids out there who just are abused, and like Gannon was just horribly murdered, and I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. And to have someone exploit what, they've already had the worst of the worst, and you're just going to build upon that. I mean, the least we can do is give them dignity and respect in death.
It is smart. It's exactly what we were saying earlier. You are re-victimizing this young man.
Absolutely.
Re-victimizing him.
Bowling with cotton balls, because both of you went to see for your own curiosity about Zav. In my opinion, that's just as wrong.
Well, it might be bowling. It truly might be. I'm up here commentating on it. I'm having a strong opinion on it, and I'm getting conflicting things from people. We have people arguing over, was this done or that done? And so I went and looked, and absolutely Zav Girl has the right to do what she wants. She followed the law. She got the FOIA request. She's doing her thing. She absolutely has that. You won't see me holding that against her. And that's why I said, in my opinion, it's not appropriate.
Well, and just as she has that right, everybody else has the right to express their opinion.
And I respect Chasen and Deets going and getting a peek, in the sense of they're up here talking about it.
Right.
What? Okay, would it be better for them to just follow blindly and be like, oh yeah, screw her, fuck her? No, you need to see for yourself if what you are advocating for in this situation,
if I'm going to tell people not to do something,
right or wrong.
Right.
And again, I'm not entitled to tell anyone what to do. No, but it's horrific, y'all. It's a sweet little boy.
Well, and I don't think by expressing opinions we're telling anyone what to do. We're just expressing that we think that this is, I personally think this is horrific.
I agree. I do agree.
I don't have a medical background or anything like that at all. My daughter does, but I don't have a medical background.
I've seen some wild shit, man.
And I know that there are people like you who have seen, or that girl who has seen stuff like that. I have seen autopsy photos of my loved ones. I have, I've shared my story. I found my loved ones in a murder-suicide situation. Very gruesome. It's a lot. This was 20 times worse than any of that. It's completely different.
I agree.
And I don't know if that's from knowing the whole story, or if it's from her commentary over the top of it. Like it's almost like entertainment. I don't know what it is about it, but it's different.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I agree, Hakab. I can see why people would want to see it. I just think she's a twat for putting it out. Absolutely. What if his parents walked out of the courtroom during that part of the trial? I don't know if they did or not, but what if they had? It doesn't matter, because now it's going to be everywhere.
His mom did walk out. She did.
Yeah.
And now she's going to possibly stumble across that, not even meaning to.
And
thinking it's somebody talking about her child's case.
I pray to God that they, as parents, educate their baby on what not to look for online, because if she ever stumbles across this, I mean, I'm sure she's already in so much therapy because of what she's went through losing her brother. But if she ever stumbles across even just one of these images, it's going to be traumatizing for life.
Yeah.
For life. Yeah. We got
Deetsy, thank you for letting me come up here and share my ideas and whatnot. I really have to go. I have to take a gummy, and I'm gonna lay down for a while.
Thank you, Grandma Sherry. Thank you so much
Grandma
for
Sherry.
everything you do. We love you.
Bye. Love
Yeah,
you.
Deets, I'm gonna get down too, but thank you for having me up.
Thank you, Gina. I appreciate you hopping up, love.
Yep. See you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Bowling with cotton balls. I know you're not mad, and I love you too. And you're absolutely entitled to tell me how you feel about it. I have no problem with that.
I would say there's so many opinions on it. I totally get why Deets did this live, and I get all of this.
Yeah.
But until you do see it, you really can't say a lot. Because I was saying things based on other people's thoughts and opinions, and I didn't know exactly the visual or the audio. I didn't know. So I looked.
And I only saw like 4 minutes of it, Queen. I don't even think. Oh, sorry, someone's back here. I didn't even stay that long to view a ton of it. She just showed me a couple. I wanted to hear her speaking. Obviously, I want to hear her commentating, and I wanted to see if it was blurred or not because that seemed to be a big topic in here. So, she just quickly went over those few moments for me. It was only 3-4 minutes, not a ton. But it was a lot.
I think what the person said in chat about people viewing it being just as bad, it's debatable, but I know I feel gross for having seen that. I honestly did not believe that she had done it. I just really didn't believe that that's what had happened. I thought people were just getting all upset and up in arms again about not nothing, but, you know, about something that wasn't exactly what was going on.
It would have been different. Like when I started this live and I told you all just very candidly, you know, I'm on the fence about this because I'm, you know, with Ellie and Joneson and Grandma Sherry, like, yeah, I watch true crime, not just crama, like real true crime where we go over autopsy photos and things like that. But I was also struggling with the fact that it was a minor and it was behind a paywall. But this is actually going and, you know, hearing everybody for the last 2 hours, the different perspectives, and then actually going and seeing it for myself. It is, it's not educational. It's not scientific. It's not commentated over in a manner which
1,000,000%
Get
different.
y'all
Million.
further, because I was, you know, watching pretty much the same thing Joneson did, and I did not see any that were blurred, but I also did not look at everything because I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So if I would almost venture to say that whoever put out the document to begin with, like that she paid for it from the court, may have blurred that, because if she blurred that, why didn't she blur any of the rest of it, you guys?
Well, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
pointed
wasn't
it
coming
out.
at you, Jonesy. I just got
No,
that.
I know. No,
I was
I
like,
didn't
maybe
take
they
it that
know.
way.
Well,
Okay,
here's
good,
the thing.
good.
Here's the thing. You all looked at it, and I don't know if you watched, you know, the whole thing or not. There are probably moments where you looked away, and I wouldn't
An
blame you
hour
at all.
long, and I did not go through the entire thing. I'm not going to go. I saw more than what I needed to see. You know what I mean? Like, not that I fault anybody else for looking more. I just couldn't. And from what I saw, there wasn't any editing. So I would almost say it came that way, Jones, because otherwise, why didn't she do it elsewhere?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I
And
looked
she said
sideways
she was-
at it, like I held the phone to the side and
Well,
just
and
started
she
playing.
was, if she was reading it off of a PDF, so I would say it probably came.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I think it
positive it
was
did
Grandma
because
that
she
said
went
that.
to each comment on each file. You know, she was on the comment part, so I think it came like that.
Well, just in the two shots on the table, and you guys know what I mean. One was blurred and one wasn't, and I even mentioned to Quinn, I'm like, well, there's one that is, and she's like, well, she thought maybe it was blurred afterwards because she's like, I don't remember that at all last night.
No,
but like I said, there could be moments where you just look away. You know,
the way that video is loaded, there is not that I'm aware of a capability to edit it after the fact, like as if it was uploaded on YouTube.
Gotcha.
What you see is what you're getting there, unless
Yeah.
you're in a whole nother form.
I think it was Grandma Sherry that said that what was it, disbursement? Like,
to disseminate it, to like give it to other people.
Decimate.
I think it was Grandma that said that she might have edited it a little bit or clipped it up a little bit to make it more like. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Like, if it is illegal to put it out there, then she would have had to do something like that, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know about stuff like this.
Jones, and I don't think she's supposed to share it like this way in this manner after she pays for it. I don't think it's legal.
I don't know that it's I don't know the answer to that.
I can say I'm glad I did not hear the commentating after hearing y'all talk about it.
Yeah, I think you're, and I know how you are, and I get where you're coming from. Like I said, I messaged you this morning. I'm like, I'm on the fence, but the commentating is it's not educational. That's all.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't hear it, but
it's like a very lost person.
I got a question for Cody though. He's saying it's not illegal,
awful.
and I know his profession, like, if it's not illegal, then why, when we're paying for these court documents for the cases and stuff, does it tell you that you cannot then turn around and do it in these ways?
Yeah, that's what I
would
was
depend on the state law, the FOIA law. You have to read that in detail.
Yeah, where I live, that's not what you're supposed to do.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Hi, Cody. Can you answer that, sir?
Yeah, FOIA is it's every circuit court makes their own rules as far as it goes. As you know, federal law does not cancel local court ordinance. They can make their own rules.
Yes.
So if this FOIA said not to be disseminated, it would also say not to be disseminated in the format of FOIA, this FOIA clause. She changed it by making a recording, a video of her presenting the stuff. Bam.
Okay,
right
so
there.
that's just passing out the document then, sir? Is that what you mean? Like, to just pass out the actual document would be, but not to change it?
Yeah, she can present it as long as she changes it out of the original FOIA format.
She fair used it, that girl. That's what it sounds like to me.
She did just use the FOIA PDF, though. She didn't, like, get out just the pictures or anything. She was just scrolling through the PDF.
But she also had commentary to it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I muted it, but she did. Yes, sir. The whole entire time. Yes, sir.
Yeah. As long as she was doing that, as though she was presenting it, she could show everything, FOIA disclaimer and everything. But as long as she took it from that format into her own video recording,
she did.
That makes it legal.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Jen, she didn't say.
It sucks.
Sorry, Papa Jones. Sorry, babe.
I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
She didn't say let's take a poll, but the other ones, yeah.
Oh, did she? She said, what do you guys think? Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
What do you think about this? And you can pause and zoom in and screenshot if you need to. And,
oh, my God.
I just don't know. Like, what do you think that is? Is that a maggot? Yeah, she absolutely did.
It was gross. Like I said, I wanted it muted. I didn't want to listen. And I didn't watch the whole thing, and nor am I going to. I didn't need to watch the whole thing to have an opinion on what I felt was wrong. But if what Cody's saying is true, which I have every reason to believe him, then that means to me that it's another matter of morals and ethics, and this is just going to be another time we see she has none.
I agree.
It's ethics.
See, here in Spalding County, if you go for FOIA, you better be able to show you got a reason for educational, doctors, some reason, or you ain't getting shit.
Yeah, they won't give it out.
They won't give nothing. And I think that's the way it should be. Now, I truly think what this lady's done is disgusting. It's pathetic. It's sick. But
legal.
I need to explain this for people like Jet and I. She's in the medical field. She got a lot of medical training. I was in law enforcement. Had they had found his body beforehand with very little decomp, I promise you, I would have went to look at these pictures.
I think maybe that's the difference. Maybe it might be because it's not.
No, Deets, I told you not to go. I know how your heart is. I told you, but screw you, Papa Jones. I'm looking.
Well, I really just wanted to hear her and how she was presenting it, and to kind of settle that debate on, is she truly adding an educational value to it or not, for my own opinion. And I don't regret it. I'm not going to have nightmares because that's, just who I am, what I've seen in life, but I can absolutely see where people will.
Well, you can imagine watching it with it muted, and seeing certain things, and then you see her circling like the stab wounds and everything. To me, I thought she was educating because I'm not listening to it. But now, that shit's like, oh, she wasn't doing it for
Well, and I think that
clarification.
Cody Jones is right, that to see it whenever the remains are, God, I hate even saying this, but when they're at a more fresh state, as opposed to an advanced state, and I do mean advanced state of decomposition and covered in vermin, I think that there is a big difference, and your average person doesn't normally see things like that. And the child's life was very presented heavily on social media, especially with him living, and just your average person that hasn't dealt with what you have, Deets, or I have, or they have, or it's too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would have went and looked at those pictures if they would have been fresher, because I had questions about the blood splatter. But due to the advanced state of decomposition, I wouldn't have been able to tell anything. There's no way. So why would I go look?
Well, I thought that, and I looked, and I couldn't tell which one would have caused what.
Yeah, you saw. I could point it out very clearly, Jones. And
yeah, you did. Yeah.
I could tell, and it's not something. It's just not something people should see, and especially not without really, really, really hardcore warnings. And the video to me started out quite off the bat with his remains front and foremost of the screen, and there was not appropriate, hey, you're about to see somebody. And I get people should know that after 8 weeks that that's probably going to be the case, but not everybody gets that.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of remains from that many weeks out haven't been encased in a suitcase, preserving them more so that it's different. It's just different.
Yeah, and I agree with Montana Jade. It's still wrong. Just because you're curious, you're nosy, don't go look. And see, if I would have viewed these photos in my mind, and I love your big hearts. I mean, y'all got some huge hearts. It's an 11-year-old child. In my mind, I would have been seeing a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's because of your career.
I understand that
explanation. Like, that girl kind of just.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. That's how I look at it, as remains. That's not that child. That is remains.
Right. That child.
I had to do that at work. I had to do that at work a lot. Otherwise, how are you going to embalm a baby unless you view it that way?
Right.
But most people, Cody, I don't think they're capable of making that separation.
No, I assure you, seeing him with his little Minecraft shirt on, and his blankets and his pillow, you will see him as Ganon.
Yeah,
he's not fully decomposed.
Do that. I wouldn't allow myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that the average person out here who followed his trial or his case before that, the way that a lot of people have, though, Papa Jones, could do that. I don't think
because you could tell who it is.
Well, and I want to make it clear, I just literally didn't believe it. I haven't been around at all, you guys, especially this last 2 weeks. I've been gone. And I kept getting all these emails and seeing things in Discord. And I'm like, no effing way. I'm just going to jump in here and see for my damn self so I can shut everybody up. And I'll be damned if it wasn't way worse than what I thought they were talking about.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, no way she did that. Yes, she did.
I do know how long she's been around, and I have watched her off and on the whole time. And even during the Kylie Rodney stuff, I told her I could agree that we have different ethics and not hate her. I don't hate anybody, you know what I mean? But this is beyond, to me, in my opinion, beyond different ethics to a complete lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did after QX's statements. I watched some of his stream last night. If his claims are true, that would make it declared the last night.
What's up, big boy?
Well, and you're free to go commentate on that. I mean, I don't think anybody here would stop you from. I don't even think he would stop you from doing such. But this is.
Elizabeth Lander has it exactly right. We all personalized Gannon in some way, you know, especially if you covered all aspects, including the trial.
Why am I hearing Deets' voice out of that girl's avatar and Jet's voice out of Deets' avatar?
It's probably StreamYard glitching.
I'm muted, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe YouTube's glitching because it did just freeze up for me because I do have it pulled up on my phone and the whole chat froze, and I guess it's doing it for others. So,
did any of y'all watch when Letitia was going live on Facebook before she got accused? She was already being accused by all us, but I think that's where it got a little bit personal for me, more so than other cases. When they start going live, just like with the Wattses, when you have somebody going live a lot and you're seeing them and you're hearing them, and it just is more personal. So I think that Jones and I probably did in this case a little bit, but I can assure you I am not shocked and appalled by what she put out because of that.
No, I don't think you are.
I'm just saying, for me, it's not because of that. It's just because, like,
what the fuck?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You were there. You heard me.
What the fuck?
Well, Sandy, she's allowed to stick up for Zav. Absolutely allowed to stick up for Zav. And I know that there's going to be a misconception that this channel is trying to act like some morality police and saying, you know, no, you can't do that. You're like, no, I'm just saying it's wrong. I don't think it's right at all. I think it's disgusting and it's wrong.
Well, and I think it's okay to discuss this. How do we have moral standards or ethical standards in society without discussions of what is okay and what is not?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a difference. And I've never heard you, Deets. Of course, I have been absent a lot this year and this last few weeks especially, but I've never heard you be really hardcore judgy or actually tell anybody what to do that I can remember.
I'm not sending y'all over there to do anything or to unsub, none of that. Nope, I'm sharing my opinion.
And you shared her link, which I completely disagree with, by the way.
But I do, yeah.
You did.
I know you and Claire both were like, I wouldn't. Like, well, that's fine. You guys wouldn't, and that's cool. But that's this is me, and this is my channel. This is what I'm gonna do. And
yes, and I respect that about you. I really do, and I respect the actual try to fair use, and I respect that Cody came up to share that information with us, and I believe him. But man, that just is.
It is. I agree.
There's gonna be people like that who agree with her, that there's nothing wrong with it. There will be people that agree with it. There will be people here in the chat who feel that. And
a great majority of people will think that because it's natural, morbid curiosity.
Well, yeah, everybody likes to look at a train wreck, don't they, sir?
I like trying to make them, but hey.
I just think it was wrong.
Glory? No, ma'am, I have not. I'm not going to look at it because I'm not curious. I've seen 1,000 autopsies, and this would give me nothing other than the fact I want to go and smack the hell out of this chick.
PTSD. All right, I got to go unload groceries. I'll be back.
Bye, Johnson. Thanks.
Bye, Johnson.
That's all I learned was that I wish that Letitia died too. That's all I learned.
Yeah, see, I've had to witness this firsthand, so I have no desires to go and see this autopsy. None.
Yeah, I think what you did was worse because, I just cared for people post-mortem in the funeralization concept.
Oh hell no, that's bad too. You see
It
it?
is, but it's not the same as you walking up on somewhere where the most evil, vicious parts of humanity have been displayed and are left for you to analyze. The cleanup is much different. And I could see where, especially in the later stages where you just why would you want to? I understand. I respect that, honestly. Because there is a difference between, picking up where the ME leaves off and being the person to go there to analyze it. There's a big difference to me.
Hey, Deets, I'm going to
Yeah.
jump down. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
allowing
Thank
me to come
you.
up.
I appreciate you. You guys, I'm gonna grab your channel, but thank you
Oh,
so
you
much
don't have to
for
do that.
coming.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys have a good day.
You
Good
guys need
day.
to check out
Who was
telling
You
their
too,
stories.
thanks.
speaking? I don't know who that is.
That was telling their stories. She shares out stories of victims who don't often get shared out, and
Nice.
it's
Oh,
beautiful.
then I would probably really like her channel.
Yeah,
I like variety. Not that sounds bad, but I do like to hear different cases.
me too. And there are ones that aren't. There's a couple that are shared out frequently, but for the most part, they're stories of victims that aren't talked about a ton. And so it's really nice. And I like, putting it on and listening to it when I'm doing things, but it's so good to hear how she shares out their stories. Just beautiful.
I'm gonna hop off, Deets. I have to go find the container for these headphones because they're dying.
Thank you for hopping up, Tracy, and sharing your opinions. I appreciate it.
To get ready to Costco, I just wanted to make sure Jones understood where I was coming from and judging. And I didn't know you had gone to look because when I was in here earlier, you had not yet.
No, I hadn't, and I didn't think I was going to, but then after, everybody's just back and forth on what was there and wasn't there, and then I'm like, okay, if I'm judging her, if she's truly commentating over this in an educational manner, then I would probably be agreeing with Perplexed right now.
Yeah.
But to know if she truly was, I didn't want to just take someone's word for it, so I listened. I wanted to hear it.
So good old Purple had gotten started in that.
It's all good.
Okay.
But well, thank you for sharing what you did and your expertise in your field. I truly appreciate it.
I mean, I guess that's what you call it. I just call it the heart. It's sad. So you have a good afternoon. Thanks for answering that for me, Cody. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your wisdom on that.
No, it's no problem. No problem. I do what I can. I just really don't like talking up here.
I don't. Well, you should sometimes.
You do great. You should do it more often.
Y'all have a good
night. Bye, that girl. Thanks, Nicole. That was a long, interesting live, but yeah, we're coming up on 3 hours. Do you have anything else you want to add to it, Papa Jones?
No, ma'am. It's just how's your heart?
It's good.
I felt you all the way over here, lady.
I know. It's just a little shocking that I guess just hearing the way she was commentating over it is what shocked me the most. I mean, yeah, the pictures were absolutely horrific to see and heartbreaking, but to have someone engage that way is what kind of affected me a little bit. So
yeah, that's if I would have listened to that weirdo talk like y'all are saying she was talking, I would have lost it.
Yeah,
I would have absolutely lost it.
I know. I think a lot of people did, and that's why I try to look at things from all perspectives and give people the benefit of the doubt and think, oh, well, maybe they had these intentions or maybe they had those intentions. But with this one, I think it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, it is.
So now the chat or everyone else can, decide how they feel about it. And but I still strongly encourage people to not go look at that.
I wish there was some way we could put up something, a banner. Do not look at this. Do not look at it.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I didn't put her in my title or tag her or anything like that for the community. But maybe I will, just so when people are searching for that, they'll find this instead, because
then on that hand, that's if it's that bad, I've got to go look.
I know that's true, and that's the dilemma, isn't it? That's the dilemma.
Damned if we do, and damned if we don't.
I know. And Chair of Bullies, love your name, by the way. that's the other part too. It's like it's different when we see adults in that manner. I mean, it's still a lot, and it still touches you emotionally, but children in that manner is what really gets you.
Yes.
Because you are looking at the outcome of pure evil here on earth, and that's what you see, and it's horrific, absolutely horrific.
The one I witnessed, the reason that I mean, I guess it desensitized me, gave me a heart of stone, was a 6-month-old we watched as his dad slammed him into the asphalt twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to go and view that autopsy. Yeah. So that made me hard.
Well, I don't know if she's still here to answer that, Kitten Kubler. I'm guessing it's, like I said, it's the child aspect, and it is completely shocking. Completely shocking.
I mean, it was Kanika Jenkins.
Hey, Voices, I'm getting ready to hop off. How's it going, love?
Hey, this was what I was trying to bring up to you yesterday, but my devices weren't connected.
No, yeah, they kept saying not connected. I was like, I think
yeah. And so that was, I'm sorry, like I said, I tried to bring it up to you yesterday because I knew that you were talking about like current community issues and all of that. So
I'm glad I didn't see it then, because that was such a long stream about other things. I don't know if I would have felt the
well,
same.
that's why I just went ahead and didn't. I just went ahead and was like, all right, I'll just wait and I'll talk to her the next time. So
what do you think about all this?
Oh, I'm furious. I hope it cost her her channel. Honest to God.
I don't know that it will. I don't think she's done anything illegal or anything like that, but I just truly hope she does a little self-reflection and maybe listening to how others feel about it. And Papa Jones fell down. And you know,
I hope it actually ends up backfiring on her is my hope.
Thank you.
Willow
Papa
says
Jones.
it won't cost her anything.
Yeah. No, I don't think she's done anything technically illegal or anything like that. It's just
I hope
just a moment to self-reflect and think about what we're putting out as creators, what we're encouraging as creators, and what we want to be known for. And I'm not just saying that to Zav Girl in this instance. When I say that out loud, I'm saying it back to myself as well. And I think we all need to take those moments and reflect on what we're doing, what we're sharing out, and what we're spreading to others on multiple levels.
I fully agree. I'm with you on that because I thought we were all about the kinder, ethical creator movement. And this seems like it's so unethical. It seems like morals are skewed on this one. I mean, and I've been a fan of Zav Girls for a long time. I've watched Zav for a long, long time. But I'm just not impressed with this one.
I just don't know. I hope, is it wrong of me to say that I truly hope that Zav does do a live and explains herself, not gives excuses like she did at the end of her last live. And I understand,
there's no explaining.
Being
There's
caught
no
off
explaining.
guard or whatnot in chat. I get that, but I really hope that because I want to understand it. I just want to understand it a little better. Trying to, anyway. Trying to.
And I don't think it's illegal because you can actually request those. I believe it's immoral and it's unethical. And there's a way to do that. And then there's a way to pimp out. And, we've seen other creators that have put stuff behind a paywall and it's cost them things.
Yeah.
So I hope she realizes that she just opened herself up to legal ramifications.
We kind of went through that through this whole live, though. I don't believe that she did anything illegal because, like, Papa Jones was just up here and he explained to us that all she has to do is transform the FOIA, and she did transform it before she shared it out. So yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, then good. I hope that Al and Landon just rip her to pieces. I hope they rip her from limb to limb. Time to quarter.
I hope they never see it. That's just me personally. I just hope they never see it. So, but
the problem with that, Deets, you know that there were people last night. I know you're getting off of here, and I'll
yeah,
quit.
you're fine. Go ahead, hon.
Here's the thing. I know that with people, with how quickly word travels in the social media worlds, you can bet last night that they heard about this. You can bet they heard about it.
You're probably right, though. You're probably right, but I hope not. I truly do. But yeah, unfortunately, and she's going on a bit. Yeah. Well, maybe after her vacation, she'll be able to explain it a little better. I'm not subbed to her channel, so if she does, someone please email me or tag me in it, and I'll try to keep an eye.
Screen record it, for God's sakes. If she does something, screen record it.
I would like to hear what she has to say and try to understand it from her point of view. But I hope they don't see it. But thank you for hopping up here, Voices. I'm sorry, you should have came sooner. But I was on here so long yesterday.
Honey, I was up all night because my drunk uncle was out here traipsing the outside of the house. So I didn't get to go to sleep until like 5 o'clock this morning when the sun came up.
Oh, well, catch you a nap.
Yes, I just woke up. I slept from 5 to noon. So anyway, I'm off to go do things. So have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Voices.
Bye.
Have a good one. I strongly disagree and hope she is told to remove it and clean up her act. Yeah, you guys are absolutely entitled to think that. I have. Whew. Man, this was a little heavy, y'all. Thank you guys for showing up and listening and just kind of walking through where we all stand on it and think what we all think about it together instead of being quick. I didn't want to have a snap decision, and that's why I was like, wait, don't come at me, because I see both sides here. After hearing her, though, that definitely changed my opinion. Again, I'm not the morality police. I can't hold her accountable for anything or tell her to do anything, but I can share with you all what I think. And I think it's wrong. But that's just my opinion. I'm going to need to go enjoy my pool for quite some time after this. Go out there and spread some love. And go listen to what Laura has to say. Hear her side of it and see what she thinks. Hopefully others will speak out too and share what they think. I love you too, Kate. Thank you guys all. Sorry. I don't like to cry in public, so I'm going to hop off of here. I'll see y'all on the next one. Love, love.